Tuesday edition. This is the OK Show. My name is Iceman.
You got Rod Rodriguez. I'm still on
And
vacation.
yes, he's back on his what? You're back on your rest house?
Yeah, look at the background, man. I'm
You
still
know,
I'm
I
still at the
know.
rest house. I'm still at the vacation home.
I remember you doing an episode staying at your rest house. I can see the grand piano again. And that that nice sofa over there. I mean, my
Oh
God. I
yeah,
envy you, Rod. I envy you. How much money
yeah.
you're
I mean,
making, man?
living the high life, dude. I'm getting sick and tired
I
of it.
know.
It's getting boring.
Are you one of
I
those
I, I miss,
people that the BIR is after? Who's like earning a lot of money from, from I don't know, like online stuff and whatnot, like maybe streaming something, maybe on YouTube, or maybe you have a Facebook Live thing that I don't know about and you're earning a lot of
I pay
money?
my I pay my taxes, bro.
You
It's
pay your
all paid,
taxes?
man.
All right.
I pay my
Wow.
taxes.
Living large, my man. Living large.
I'm a taxpayer. So yeah, so definitely even large. And I'm getting sick and tired of this life, man. I mean, this home that you see in the background, it's like it's so like I don't think you've been in this house. It's one of my 20 houses that I own.
Hmm.
I miss it. I'm missing the simple life. 555 sardines and the Baja rice. Watching Gut the Wonderful and reading Liwayway magazine. Just a simple life. But this is the card I've been dealt with, so I gotta learn how to play that piano back there. All right. So,
All
anyways,
right.
enough BS. This is obviously just a background thing. The real high life is the guy beside me here. Oh no, here. This guy. Yeah, that room you see, yeah,
Right.
looking like a regular room, clean, nice, simple room
Right.
in Japan. So we are now. Let's go home. Let's go
No,
home. All right.
I have a
Anyways,
piano.
you
It's an
started it.
electric piano.
You're
It's
the
a
one with,
grand
but
electric
but
piano.
but it's real. See the difference? It's real. It's all just
Holy
here.
crap.
Figment of
Holy
my
crap.
imagination. But
But dude, that's
anyways,
so
so
believable. Your background right
I
now,
know, I
that is
know,
so believable. Like,
dude.
if you don't move
My
a
aunt
lot, people
felt
would really think that you live in
if
that
you don't
house.
move a lot. If you don't like if I actually go back there and sit down, like my aunt believed it. Like my mom was asking how she wants this background back. I'm like they're probably so used to seeing me like in a really bad state that they're like, finally, my son looks like he's successful. But it's magic of green screen. But anyways, so I apologize for last night. We tried it. I could have dealt with the internet being bad because I think I could have moved around and probably found a decent spot. But it was raining cats and dogs, literally. So the rain was so hard. If I was in the house, I wouldn't hear it. Wouldn't be so bad. But in that particular like resort home that we stayed at,
Hmm.
it was all like glass, so it wasn't soundproof. It didn't have like concrete walls on one side. It was all glass. So when it was raining really hard and there was like a porch outside, you could hear everything. And I couldn't hear Iceman because I couldn't put on my Bluetooth, my what is it called, AirPods. I
Hmm.
couldn't put them on because then my mic would be deactivated. So I don't know what's with our streaming service. Because like supposedly if you put these things on, they also serve as a mic, right? Like if you're using
They
it for
do.
like
They do.
a phone call,
Actually, they do.
right? So if I have this on though, like um I don't know, for some reason, like I don't know, like I try like with my phone. So but anyways, we'll work something out. Iceman will try to figure it out. But tonight it's a makeup episode, and apparently it's something. Yeah, see, Gab says Rod's background seems legit. Unfortunately, I'm not. So
Yes, I told him if he
your
doesn't move a
background looks
lot,
legit, but the
if he
guy doesn't
stays
look
put,
legit.
people would buy it that he lives in that house.
I have my grape of home. Okay, Jackie Chan. But
Because
I look.
if you move a lot, I mean, the background starts to crumble. I mean, it's like you're in a computer or something. Have you seen those movies when all of a
Yes,
sudden the person just kind of like sort of
Matrix,
like
the Matrix,
yeah, that sort of
get
thing, and there's like
pixelized.
that static sort of
Um,
effect, and they're like, oh my god, what's happening to
yeah,
Rod? Is this all
yeah,
fake?
we
Is
just
this all pretend?
I'm real. It's the background that's fake, unfortunately. But it's hey, it's either this or the real mess that's behind me. But either way, um, so like yesterday was an episode that should be forgotten because like I said, I tried, and I think Dexter was complaining. He's like, "Hey,
I know. I
magplastar ka na,
deleted everything. I
hilo,
deleted
hilo na
everything.
kami." Thank you, man. I was
Not a
actually
shred of
expecting you
evidence.
to
I just
delete that.
deleted it. It was yeah. It
That
sucked.
that was a forgotten episode. So Dexter was like, "Plastar ka na, nahihilo na kami." I'm like, it was like the Blair Witch, the Blair Witch episode
Yes. Yes.
of of the OK show. So it was an not so OK show. That was not an OK show. But this one, I don't know what this is about. But shout out to Gab for being on board this early on a day that we're not supposed to have an episode. This is a makeup episode. So what I did not see the viral video of that
Oh,
Cebu
you have
cyclone,
not?
whatever. No,
I
so
I just
I'm
I
coming
just
in
think.
here not knowing anything. So,
All right. Okay.
but I want you to
So
explain.
I bumped into it. I found it this morning. It was
Okay.
on a sort of a news page. I think it's um, Inquirer's Facebook page, and it was
Okay.
about bikers. Not talking about those guys on big bikes, but bikers
Cyclists.
like those,
Yeah. Like
yeah,
bicycle.
cyclists.
Yeah. Cyclists.
Those
Yeah.
road bikes, cross bikes. I don't know. Like that was probably a road bike, or that could be a cross bike.
Mm-hmm.
What do you call
Mm-hmm.
those? The one with the big tires, like those like thick tires, like
Mountain mix. Panto. Panto. Panto
Is
bike.
that the cross bike or is that the road bike? That's the road bike, right?
Okay. Okay. Here the difference is okay. The way I see it is the road bikes don't have the suspension, like the shocks, right?
Right.
Doesn't have the shocks, and the tires are usually thinner and like not like
That's the road bike.
yeah. No, that's yes, the road. That's the road bike. That's the road bike. That they're thinner. They don't. Their handlebars are usually like this. So the mountain bikes are the ones that are like obviously they have shocks and their tires are more like off
Are they
road
bigger and
looking.
thicker? Right, right, right.
Yeah,
Okay.
big and thicker. But they also have like those Cannondale ones. Those are usually like road bikes. Those are the ones that they usually use during triathlons. When they get off the water, they go straight to the bike. Those are road bikes. They're more streamlined. They're more for aerodynamics and all that
Hmm.
stuff. The mountain bikes are the ones that obviously you need the suspension for when you're going off road or going to the mountains or a trail ride. But I'm not the guy to ask because I'm not an expert. But the one that you're telling me about is a road bike.
I think road bike. Yes, I just Googled it
Okay, so what happened?
and right.
So what's
Yeah.
that
Okay.
about?
Okay, guys on a road bike. They were. I think there were like three of them or four. I think they
Mm-hmm.
were like in a sort of traffic altercation. So
Okay.
this is sort of a road rage incident, right? So the
Okay.
guy or the victim, at least on like I mean how the video showed it was this guy who's selling pandesal, right? Like a pandesal
Okay.
vendor. He's
Okay.
driving a
Yeah. All right.
motorcycle with that
Mm-hmm.
with that thing, like
Mm-hmm.
those sidecar
Sidecar.
type of like sidecar type bike, right? So
Yeah.
I don't know
Yeah.
what happened before that, but the video started with these guys trying to overtake the vendor, and they tried to stop him,
Okay.
and they successfully
Okay.
did. So they kind of like um, started harassing him. I think they were verbally abusing him, and
Okay.
at some point it got really heated, and one of the guys just threw a punch, and
Ouch.
the pandesal vendor just got hit in the face, right?
Ouch.
And I think it was only
Okay.
one punch though, but it was a sucker punch, man. And the guy was
Yeah.
just like sitting there. I think they were like talking. So I think the
Mm-hmm.
guy was trying to justify something, or maybe they like those things that happen on the road. And he was probably trying to explain or
Yeah.
justify. I don't know what really went on. I don't know what happened
Yeah.
to their conversation, or what was the actual conversation about. But
Yeah.
the guy just sucker punched him, and he couldn't do anything. And
Okay.
eventually, when the vendor was interviewed, the newspaper said that those guys were pretending to be NBA agents. They told him that they
Okay.
were special agents for the National Bureau of Investigation. So they were trying to
Okay.
um, scare him, and they
Like
were using
intimidate
like
the guy. Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
yeah, intimidate the guy. Like trying to abuse. Like that. I
And
mean,
this is a pandesal
they tried
vendor, right?
a pandesal
This is a
vendor, like
pandesal vendor guy.
yeah, just a lowly pandesal vendor compared to like these guys who are driving, riding these expensive
Expensive bike.
bikes. Yeah,
Yeah.
they're probably like 100, 200, 300,000 worth.
Yeah. Probably more
And
expensive than my car. Yeah.
this guy was
Yeah.
trying to make a living selling
Yeah.
bread. And I
Yeah.
don't know, it was in the middle of the day, and they violated a lot of, according to the news report, they violated a lot of rules there because they were not supposed to be on the road. That's what it says there. You can't do. I think they're not supposed to be there. They should be fined somewhere along maybe 100 pesos. That's like a small fine, because if for example, if you live in Mamay, or if you live
Mhm.
in your case, Fairlanes, you can only bike
Yeah.
around Fairlanes or Mamay, the Mamay area. I mean, at
Okay.
least that's what the Cebu. I think that particular city in Cebu was,
Mandawi
the
City.
mayor.
So
Uh,
so it
is it
wasn't it
Mandawi
wasn't in
City? Yeah.
Cebu. It was in Mandawi City. I didn't even know that Mandawi was like a different, like not in Cebu.
All right. Okay. In Mandawi
Because
City. So the mayor said
yeah.
there that, I think the mayor said that you have to stay in your community or in your area. You can't go out like in the open roads and whatnot. So that's one of the violations. Pretending to be an NBA agent, that's another violation. That's
No,
that's it.
that's a major
That's a
violation.
serious one. Yeah.
Yeah.
And what
Unless
else?
it's Halloween. Unless it's Halloween. If it's Halloween, you can be a policeman. You can be a vampire. You know,
Yeah, but you can't abuse
you
your
can be a
power though. You
zombie.
can't intimidate people. You can't go out, punching people
No,
because
but
you're
you can be a
pretending to be an NBA agent.
you can be a method actor. You know, like you're really into your costume. You know, like come
You
on, if you're
start
a
punching
zombie,
people.
you go like this, right? I mean, well, that's not really what NBA people do. So you should be doing that.
Dude,
Just kidding.
it was terrible. For people who saw it, like I saw the video, I was just like pissed. I'm like, come on, man.
So
I
so
mean, come
who's taking the
on.
video? Okay, we're okay. The first off, were these people identified finally, and
No,
were
not
they
yet. Not yet. They're not identified yet.
Ooh,
Nobody
okay, they're
knows who
hiding.
they're. Yeah, nobody knows who they are. Unlike that
Um,
viral video of, what was her name, Maria, the one who ordered stuff and decided not to pay for it.
was it whatever her name is, Miss Chanel? So was the video taken? Was it, you think, clear enough to at least be able to
Dude,
identify these guys?
okay, they were not wearing masks too. They had sunglasses,
Oh,
and
okay.
they have like those helmets, but they weren't wearing masks. Like that guy who punched the vendor, he wasn't wearing any
But
mask.
yeah, yeah.
Like he's
But
supposed to be wearing a mask because
here's
it's the
the thing,
pandemic.
though. And it's a sad thing too for me to actually kind of maybe react kind of this way, but it's it's happened so many times, and I'm pretty sure it's happened even more times than that, but I'm just referring to the ones that were caught on video, like you see people in cars and SUVs, whatever. And there's always this kind of like road rage going on, or somebody telling somebody that I am this, I am that, and like intimidating the other person. And regardless of what happened, all right, regardless of whether the Pandesal guy, kind of maybe took over a part of the road, that whatever, all right, if there was a violation, there's a violation, whatever. They were all guilty of violations, regardless. It should not have come to that, especially when you see this guy was by his loans himself, and he's trying to make a living. And I'm not making up an excuses or whatever, because I don't really know what happened, but all I'm saying is it's happened so many times. It's in I don't. It's come to a point where, like, what do you do? Like, how do people react to this? You condemn these guys who did it, and then tomorrow there's going to be another thing that happens. So how do we kind of put an end to this kind of culture that we have of people using wealth or influence, or even not even like making stuff up that they have wealth and influence, right? Um, so that's the one. We're not going to get like kicked out of this, right?
No, because it's there's nothing there. There are no names. There's nothing. It's just like what happened.
Okay.
So
So
it's not
so they were
really like,
gang up on him. So did they chase the guy? Like, did the guy do something and then they went after him, or did they hit any of
um.
them?
Yeah, well,
Or this was just the coverage? It's just like
all right. Okay.
did
Let's
you
look.
did you check the year? Are you sure this is
Yeah.
2021?
Yeah.
Okay, I'm just,
Gidukol now. So there you
dude,
go.
dude. Hold on. Can we show this? Is this episode gonna be? I mean,
Dude, it's on YouTube. Everybody's watching it. It's fine. I think there's nothing
dude, this.
there. There's no like names. Nothing. So this is just like a
Okay.
video of what happened. We're not
So
violating anything here. This is like,
we don't know
you
who
know,
owns the rights to this video though. Okay. Anyway, whatever. We'll see. We'll find out if this thing gets taken down. At least we Hey, we've got Mike. What's up, Mike? Legends, legends. So
So it was a two angle. The other angle, which will be on the later part, it was a lady, and she was like, "Hey, Ginoo ka luoy, sus Ginoo," and then you can like I think they feel for the guy.
yeah, so they're basically like yeah, they have him surrounded. They're confronting him. They are. We don't know what they're saying, but they're definitely they're okay. Are you sure they're? Oh man, the guy got hit. The guy got hit. All
Was the
right.
punch finish?
Yeah. The guy threw the punch. Okay. Okay. Here's my thing. Um. Okay. Here's my thing. How sure are you that they were not talking about the Pacquiao fight and he's just showing him a sample of what Ugas did or something?
Exactly. That's what I'm saying. Like we
That
don't
might have
really
been it. I
know.
mean, they probably know they're friends. Bay, kita ka susumbag. Bay, ano ba? Okay, bay. And then, and the guy was like, okay. Oh, so somebody, there's another angle.
Laka Ginoo ko. The lady's
Another
saying
angle.
that. Laka Ginoo ko.
So who's that guy writing at him? The
So there's like
Pandesal
three of them,
distributor?
right? So it's like the Pandesal guy, the one who's driving, and there's another guy behind him. So probably like the see, he punched again. It's like the second time. It's like
Yeah.
pointing at them.
And even pretending to get a gun or something, right? Like, like from his belt bag.
Oh,
Okay, anyway, you know, just to be clear, these guys do not represent the whole biking community. All right, this is
that's
an
true. A lot of
isolated
cyclists
incident.
came out. A lot of cyclists came
Yeah.
out. Like prominent cyclists in Cebu, they spoke out against this. They spoke out against the violence.
So
Clearly, it was I mean that was uncalled for. I guess. I mean they could
that
have
was
like
uncalled
I told
for.
you that thing that happened
But
to me like years ago. You remember when I told you
yeah,
that it was terrible
you
because
almost like yeah you almost like got out of the car and whatever. Is that the
yeah
one you're talking
right.
about?
So
Yeah. Yeah.
it-
So
and
okay.
thank God I didn't
I-
because I mean
uh,
yeah I mean I really can't. I really can't just like say that. Oh, I mean, it's easy for us to talk because we're at the comfort of our homes. We're not on the road and whatnot. I mean, but I've had
yeah,
my
we
share
were
of
not. Yeah,
close to like
me
road
too.
rage type of
Me too.
incident. But thank God I've never been in that sort of
Well,
like
was that the
really.
closest? Was that the closest?
I think that was the closest.
Okay. Okay.
Because
I had an
it was terrible.
I had an I had an incident where Raj was still kind of little. I think he was like a year old, and we were on our way home. We were near like the crossing of Garcia Heights, and when it's the crossing, it's circumferential road, and then we were headed home. So we were on the like the crossing, the Garcia Heights circumferential road. So we were there's like a stoplight there. There was like a
Hmm.
traffic light, and then it was our turn to go. So I was in my lane, and this taxi like just came out of nowhere and overtook me. And he overtook me on the wrong side. Like he overtook me on the from the my side. Like he basically cut my lane. You know what I'm saying? Like he went in and cut me. He didn't come in from the outside where he could have been like a car right next to me and he caught me. That would have been like, but this one he caught me and I had to swerve my car. And obviously there's a car right next to me that I almost hit. So since I was on my way home, I don't know, just like all of a sudden I saw red, right? And I was with my wife, I was with my kid. It was 1 year old at the time. We were with the Yaya. He had the Yaya back. Raj had the Yaya back then, and I couldn't let it go. So I followed the taxi, and my wife is like, babe, let it go, let it go, let it go. And I'm like, I just couldn't let it go because I was with a kid, and I almost hit the car, and my kid and his Yaya were like seated on the right side of the car, and I followed the taxi. He turned left at the Phoenix, along Bakaka. Turned left at the Phoenix. So our house in Bakaka, it's like one block basically. So we have a gate in the front, and we have a gate in the back. So those two roads, you can pass through our house, our lot at the time, where I used to live, and so he was gonna go left, so I could follow him there, and that's like my territory. Like I know most of the people that live there, so I'm like, unless gagarayan na siya. So I followed him. I saw that he had a passenger, and he made a turn. So basically, he dropped off a passenger at this apartment, a new apartment unit that was right next to my house, but it was on our back gate. And so I followed him. I stopped my car. I got out of the car, and then I told my wifey, called the guys who were staying at the one of the houses I was renting, the car wash guys that they were staying at this house that I was renting in my compound. Just to like if anything happens, if this guy has a knife, has a pipe or whatever, I have backup or whatever. So I got out of the car. I didn't have anything with me. I just walked up to him on the driver's side, and I wasn't gonna throw a punch or do anything physical. I was just gonna like look at him, like kind of like let him know that, dude, I'm with my kid, uh, just to let him know that that was a really unsafe driving thing that he did, because maybe he didn't know, But anyway, I was really fuming mad, so I walked up to him, and when I looked at the guy, and I said bye, and I was like, raising my voice, he looked at me, and dude, he had this look of innocence, like shock, like he literally didn't know what he did. Like he was surprised that I was there. Like he thought I maybe just stopped my car and everything. He didn't look like he was expecting me to follow him. He didn't look like he was expecting somebody to be mad at him. And this guy who was like in his 50s, and I calmed down right then and there. Like when I saw him, I was like, bye. Yeah, then I calmed down. I lowered my volume and explained to him, bye. I'm gonna buy. If you're driving like this, and then you cut somebody like that, then I will have to get out of the way, and I might hit the car next to me because I'm not expecting somebody to overtake me from that side of the road because this is my lane. There is no other lane beside me, unless it's the turn left lane, and I told him I was with my kid, and he's like, sorry, sir, sorry, sir. So he apologized, and I immediately calmed down. Now, had he been aggressive, had he been expecting me to approach him, or had he grabbed a pipe ready, or had he been, then maybe that something would have happened. But I immediately calmed down because I looked at him and he had this look of innocence, like, and there's so many people here in the Philippines that have a driver's license that should not have a driver's license. Okay, now I'm not saying because they don't know how to drive. They know how to drive, but they don't know how to drive properly. There's a difference. All right. I know people who've gotten their professional driver's license in a month. You don't become a professional driver in a month. You know what I'm saying? Like, heck, you don't even become a professional driver in a year. Because once you get your professional driver's license, that means you are licensed to drive, vehicles that carry passengers, that carry people, and you have the responsibility to make sure they're safe from point A to point B. So the bottom line here is I kind of had that in my mind already, knowing that there are people that need to make a living. So they need to, and driving a public utility vehicle is one of the quickest way to make a living, I guess, in this country, because there's always a demand for a driver in a Jeep, driver in a taxi, and whatever. So I can understand that. But he had no idea that he just committed a driving offense and that he could have caused an accident. He was so innocent about it. And I kind of like forgave him then and there because of the fact that, but there is that saying that ignorance, right?
True.
It's not an
True.
excuse, right? Even poverty, even desperation, to make money. Because usually you'll hear that. And
Granting that
I'm
was
not
the case, still you can't just punch
granting that
someone in the
was the case.
face.
No, I know. That's why. No, I'm not saying that that's the case. I'm saying that was my encounter, the closest encounter I had with road rage. And I was even, maybe if I did something to the guy, like maybe, like tapped his taxi or maybe pointed at him or whatever, if I even went to that extreme, that still would not have been justified. I still would have felt guilty about doing that. That still could have been handled better. This dude on the bike punched the guy. You know what I'm saying? We didn't see anybody like hurt. We didn't see a kid involved there. He didn't have his family with him. There were 4 of them, for crying out loud, or at least how many there were of them. There's no way this Pandesal guy could have done any harm to him. It couldn't have been self-defense. So what I'm saying is, even me at my most heated, you at your most heated, that maybe we felt it's justified to hit this guy or do something in this road rage moment, we were even able to control ourselves. And we're guys who've had head trauma. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
So we have an excuse. You know what I'm saying? Like, we don't know if that had an effect on our temperament, right? But these guys, there's 4 of them. Kahit isa man lang sa kanila could have at least calmed the other guy down. Like, if you're friends and you have a friend who's a war freak, you could at least say, dude, bye. Wag na, bye. Pandesal kayo lang. Toya mo na. Pabarangay mo na yan. Or just get the plate number or report him to his employer.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, you can do that.
Right? Do
Get
that.
his name,
Right?
report to the employer.
Yeah.
All right,
Yeah,
call the police,
you know,
whatever, if he violated something. But the thing
yeah.
was, like, the people who
Don't
were like
touch the guy.
the police who were talking to the pandesal vendor, because they were interviewed by the press after that. From the video itself, like I told you, there were violations that were already, um, how do you say it? Like, they already made a list, and
Yeah, yeah.
it was mentioned there that they were not supposed to be there. Like, those
Yes.
bikes are not supposed to be on that
So
particular road. They
sila
can't be
mismo
there.
violation,
Yeah,
right?
so
I mean,
they were actually the one in violation. So if there was that, if something happened along that road, the question is, why are you guys there? You're not supposed to be there. So if
yes.
like, if you almost got into an accident, it was probably because you were not supposed to be there, and you were there,
Yeah.
and nobody was expecting you to be there. So, but
Yes.
then we cannot say for sure, because they have not surfaced yet. So nobody knows who they are. Nobody has talked to them. So like, not until we get their side, we only have we only have that video to
Were there eyewitness accounts? Like, was there anybody who actually saw it from the beginning? Like,
well,
what
just
happened and what led to that, or just that particular scene?
well, according to the Pandesal vendor, he said that those guys told him that, oh, sinide swipe mo kami, something like that. Murag side swipe mi nimo Brad,
Tinawagan
something
nila,
like
yeah,
that.
yeah.
So they said he accused him of that. So he was like, what? Like, where? And so I think that was the whole case of. I mean, that was the whole point of the conversation, because like he got, I mean, they got pissed because they were like side sweep or whatever.
Okay, you brought that up. Side swipe, side swipe. I want to clarify. Can anybody confirm? Because as far as I'm concerned, I just know
How do
side
you
swipe.
it's
But
side swipe,
I
side sweep, side
no,
swept?
no, no, no. Because there are people that
What's
also
the
say
term?
side sweep. Maybe
Mm-hmm.
side swipe involves one vehicle. Maybe sweep it involves a lot. Like, I would understand. Like I'm not talking about like being grammatically correct or whatever. I think either way you could apply it, in a statement. But the
Right. Oh,
only
Joe
thing that
boy,
I'm aware of,
I sent you a link, so check your messenger. All right, okay, go on.
yeah, I don't think he's seen it, right? Because he's in the UK.
Yeah,
So
I
Joe Boy,
sent
you
him
be
a
the
link.
judge. I mean, you
Yeah,
know.
check your
But anyway,
messages.
like I just want to clarify. Anybody know if like, for example, is that a term? Like, is that a traffic term? Like an accident term for those who
Let's
work
check.
in
I'm
the
gonna Google it.
highway patrol?
Side
Is there such thing as a
swipe.
side sweep? But I know there's a term
Side
side swipe.
swipe. Side swiped. There's
There's
a term,
no
side swipe.
there's no sweep. There's
Um.
no sweep, right? Because I hear people
Okay.
use side sweep, but
Someone or
I only
something.
know side swipe.
Strike with or as if with a glancing blow. All right. So let's see. Side sweep. Side swept bang. Side sweep.
See, there's no
Pulled
side
or
sweep, right?
arranged to one side, used especially of an asymmetrical clothing design or a hairdo.
Yeah. So there
Not the
is
side
no
sweep
side sweep.
we're looking for.
So yeah, so
Definitely not.
it's not a popular, but I hear a lot. Like, my wife says side sweep, but I know a lot of people that say side sweep. So I'm kind of like thinking maybe it's a term for like if it involves a lot, like may truck inararo yung buong barangay or something. Then maybe
Right,
that.
right.
But I just know side swipe. The reason why I know side swipe is because there is a Transformer Autobot named Sideswipe, and
Side
I
swipe.
think it's a
All right.
Ferrari. Like, it's a Ferrari. So that's the only one the reason why I'm like, are you sure it's not Sideswipe? Because I hear my friends say side sweep all the time, so it could be just Sideswipe. But like I said, it's not I don't think it's a formal traffic like road term. I don't know if the police will list that. Like, if
If
you
I Google
somebody
side swept or side sweep, this is the one that will come out. Let me show you.
what is
This
it
comes
fit?
out.
Is it fit to share? Is
Oh
it a
yeah, yeah,
hair?
it's fine, it's fine, it's fine. Yeah.
Is it a hairstyle?
Yes, there you go. That's what comes
Yeah,
out.
I knew it was a hairstyle.
I
Oh,
googled
yan na yun,
side
side
sweep
sweep.
or side swept. This is the one that comes out.
Yeah, so it's side swipe, I guess. But we don't know. So if there's a traffic person there, is that actually an actual term for a form of accident or violation that if you hit somebody, right? Like, if it's a head-on collision, there's also side swipe. We don't know. But
Right.
anyways,
I mean, it's
so that's
it's
what they
it's
were
so
claiming.
tricky though. That's why they call it road rage, because you're on the road. I mean, you really don't know your temperament as of the moment. I mean, it changes, right? So it depends on the situation. So
Yeah,
that's why they need to come out and clear things out. What happened? But no matter
yeah,
what, the punch. I think the two punches were actually. thrown, right? Two punches. So I don't
Yeah.
think that's.
Yeah.
I think that was like really uncalled for. So
I think that's
I
why
mean,
they're
come on.
riding bikes because they're high blood. High blood. They're trying to be healthy.
That's
Pero
why they're
hindi pa bumaba yung high
hypertensive.
blood, so nanuntok. So I
All
mean,
right.
like I've never like Ice and I,
Nag-exercise. Nag-exercise.
I I guess Ice we're not really the type of people who get into fights. We get into confrontations, but we don't get into fights. And maybe these people, the biker guys, it had nothing to do with the fact that they were on a bike. It had nothing to do that with the fact that somebody's like, hit their bike or whatever. I think these people, maybe if they were playing basketball and somebody kind of nudged them a little bit, they probably would have done the same thing. I think
Right.
it's more of a personality issue, a temper issue, rather than that particular incident. Kasi nangyayari naman sa ibang tao yan, but they don't react that way, right? So we don't know because usually when I watch videos of people with road rage issues and they freak out and they like go crazy and they break stuff and whatever, it's usually either they're having a breakdown, they're hangry, gutom, and
Yeah.
or the
Hungry.
pandemic, the pandemic. It's just people are more stressed out and high strung and like on very edgy, because of the situation. But those guys riding those expensive bikes, they look like they're pretty well off. They look like they were doing it for fun.
I remember something back in the day. It was my brothers, two of them. They were basketball players, right? So
Yeah.
I don't know if that was like in uni days or high school days. I would say uni days, right? So they were in the taxi. My brother, Miko, all right, Aldon,
Mm-hmm.
he
Mm-hmm.
was in front.
Mm-hmm.
They were in a taxi.
Mm-hmm.
They were in front. Uh,
Mm-hmm.
Alfred John, Nano was at the back seat, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
And they were they were in a traffic jam or something, and then there was this jeepney that's so old. It's so freaking old. The smoke
Yeah.
that's coming out of the what do you call that? The muffler is like
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
really black. It's black as
Yeah.
shit,
Yeah.
man. So
Yeah.
it's
Yeah.
really dark. It's really black. So it's
Yeah.
it's clearly it's a health hazard, right?
Yeah.
It's
Yeah. Yeah.
polluting the like the air and whatnot.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
Alden was pissed. He was pissed, man. So uh, when they were, like at the light, so everybody was like, "Stop!" Right. So I think
Yeah.
Alden
Yeah.
was just like waiting for the chance to just, yell out something to the driver or whatever. So
Yeah.
right. So
Smoke
when
belcher, right?
then yeah, so then green, 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 green. So they were supposed to, like everybody's on
Yeah.
the go
Yeah.
now. So he
Yeah.
he
Yeah.
shouted at the guy. It was like, "Sama na,
Yeah.
baligyan na, baligyan na sa coke." Baligyan
Yeah.
na sa coke yung mohog tansan or whatever, It was
Yeah.
like,
Yeah.
so he shouted at the guy.
Patimbang
He
na,
yelled at
patimbang.
him. Oh,
Yeah. Yeah.
patimba, something like that, to that effect,
Yeah.
Sama na,
Yeah.
baligyan na sa coke or whatever, patimbang na, whatever. So, right? So, yeah, everybody was like on the go and whatever. But then, little did he know, there was another light right up ahead.
So it stopped. Oh crap. Okay.
They both stopped. They were side by side again.
Yeah.
The driver of the freaking
Yeah.
jeepney looked at my
Yeah.
brother. You know what my brother did? He was just like,
Yeah.
"Aso ba aso? Aso kayo? He's like, "Aso ba aso kayo? Aso." And my brother behind him was just like laughing hard. He was just like, "Oh, that was so funny."
Because he didn't expect that to happen. He expected like, okay, we're on the go. I'm gonna yell at this guy. Like, dude, how often have you road rage with the windows up, right? You know what I'm
Right.
saying? We all road rage when the window's up. Pull the windows down. Why am I even doing like this? As if like people still roll down their windows like
Yeah.
this. Like, all day, like I'm going like this. Like people just press it now, Like I'm still going like this. Like people don't roll down their windows, they press a button and then but anyway. Matapang, matapang.
My brother behind him was just like laughing. He was
Yeah.
like, "What you do that for?" And then all of a sudden, it was just like, "Aso ba aso? Abog, abog."
You know?
I was like,
Dude,
when he told me the story, I was like laughing hard. I was like, "Oh my god, oh my."
yeah, he must have. But you know what? He must have been like much younger then, because I'm pretty sure
Yeah,
now
he
he could
was,
take on
he
that
was
guy.
younger.
He could take on that dude. That's not gonna.
But still, like,
But
when
we don't
you're,
know.
I
We don't.
mean, I mean that was a better reaction than being more aggressive than, hey, what do you want? Yeah, I mean
Yeah.
that was like
I mean,
I think that was that was a better reaction than, what I'm saying,
I agree. I
better
agree.
response
So
than
so
actually
let
provoking the other guy.
yeah, see, wag masyadong matapang. Relax lang, chill lang. Because you don't know if the driver might stop right next to you. And then, magkakaalaman. Let's says, feeling ko if dito nangyari yan, inupakan na yung mga bikers. Well, that's the thing. It's like, if it's a driver, like if it's a jeepney driver or taxi driver, usually these guys have a fraternity or a brotherhood. Like if one of them gets in trouble, like they're all automatically assist the other guy because these guys eat lunch together. Usually they work for the same
True,
taxi
true.
company, so they have this brother. But this guy is a pandesal vendor, so we don't know if that's even his, where he lives, or if he knows people in the neighborhood. Like he looked helpless, like literally. I mean, you put yourself in his position, right? So we're like I said, we're not immediately taking sides here, but we do know somebody got punched, and that's uncalled for. That's why we have law enforcers. That's why you file a police report. That's why you let the people who deal with that. You don't do your own. You can do your own investigation, but you don't. You don't decide on what the punishment is right then and there, unless you're defending yourself. And like I said, it was outnumbered. So we're just basically, it's more of like, watch it. What's your immediate reaction to it? Is this about mayaman versus pobre, or is it versus salvaje versus inocente? And I think you have to look at it. For me, I'm looking at it as a temper issue, a personality issue, an attitude issue with that one guy who threw a punch, regardless of how it was. Because I've gone through road rage. Iceman's gone through road rage, but it never came to blows. I've never like punched somebody or kicked somebody's car or whatever. I think the worst thing I did was like kind of like fold somebody's side mirror, but it wasn't really a road rage. We had a party at Auto Shop one time. This was during our radio days, DJ days, and we
What do you
would
mean you
have
fold?
parties. No, no. I'll get to that. I'll get to that.
Like,
I was with my
you
wifey.
did him
She
a
was still my
service, like
girlfriend.
fold it, or did you like
Yeah, I was with my
break it?
wifey, and she was still my girlfriend at the time. And this was the time when there was Auto Shop, there was Brugger's, there was Urban Club. There was all of these like outdoor bars. There's Absinthe and all these places. And we had one of our parties there, and I was obviously kind of tipsy, and I was on my way home with my girlfriend, who probably didn't tell her dad where she was or whatever, but she was still my girlfriend, not my wife yet. And when we got to the car, because I parked the car at the car wash right next to Urban Club, because there used to be a car wash there. I don't know if you remember.
Right,
There was
right.
a car wash there, right? Like apat lang yata, or cars can fit. And I always get my car washed there because that's where Billy Kane gets his car washed. And he recommended that place to me. So I get my engine washed there too and whatever.
Was that
So the
Formula
guys
Pete's?
there, no,
No, it's not. It's
it's
not.
no, Formula Pete's is like after Urban Club, right? Yeah. It's Formula Pete's. Formula Pete's owns that. Yes. That car
Right. So
wash.
it was, yeah. So
Yes,
Pete owned that
yes,
that place
yes,
too, right?
yes. He owns
Okay.
that spot. Yes. That's
Yeah.
Formula. Yes, that's Formula Pete. Pete owns that too. So you're right. You're right. So that's probably why I got my. So the guys there kind of know me. So they were still open at the time. So I said, "Pwede park?" Like, yeah, park, boss, park, boss. Okay, we're close to rin kami, ganyan. So I parked, right? Well, after the party, this was probably around like 1 a.m. already, I was going back to the car with my girlfriend. Some guy blocked my car, like literally, like parked his car there. There were several of us, but it was my car that was blocked. So I'm like, I'm not gonna wait for this guy to decide to go home before I can go home. Like, I want to go home now. I want to leave with my girlfriend now. It's like action time. You know what I'm saying? It's 1 a.m. It's action time.
Action,
It's just
action sa
you know,
kahon.
we were like, we were excited. So it's like, whatever. So I was like, I was getting tipsy. I wanted to get my car out of there. And it's like, you know what? My wifey did the traffic thing. I was able to, I don't know how I did it, and I was like tipsy, but I was able to navigate my car out of that tight squeeze. And once I got my car out, I walked up to the guy's car, and I didn't care if he had an alarm or whatever. I folded his window, but I folded it the other way. It
All
folds
right.
this way. I folded one of
Yeah,
it
yeah, I
down.
know, right? So, but that didn't break, right? So it wasn't broken or anything. You just like
I don't know
folded it
what
the wrong
happened, but
way.
it didn't fall
All
off
right,
or anything. I just heard like a funky look sounding crack, like, but I folded it the other
dude, it
way.
cracked.
I'm like, just
Dude, it
just to
cracked.
let him know. Like I didn't scratch it with my car keys or anything. I just like, okay, I'll help this guy. I'll fold his window. I mean, his side mirror, not window, his side mirror. I'll fold his side mirror. Boom. And then I went back to my car and we left. But had I not been able to get out of that car, usually what people do is they go to the DJ's booth at the
Right.
club and go, hey, plate number, blah, blah, blah. You're blocking somebody's right. We used to do that. We make
Right.
announcements.
Yes. Yes.
If the owner of blah, blah, blah is
That's your
here,
job.
please
You
be
should know better. That's what we do. We announce the plate numbers.
I didn't have time. You know what I'm saying? I didn't want to go to each one of the clubs there to find out which club he went to. I just know he blocked my car, and he knew he blocked my car. Like he didn't care. Like so, I was like, okay. So when he gets back to his car, he'll see his side mirror. You know.
Did
My
you ever
wife is
find
like,
out who owned the car?
No, I didn't. I don't know, but I saw a sticker in the back that said "Iceman on air." So come to think of it, he was a super carry. It was an ice blue
My
super
side
carry.
mirror folds either way, so I don't think that would have bothered me.
What
That would have been
what
fine with me. Yeah,
what
right.
was I-
Yeah, it
No,
goes
I'm
either
never
way, so
gonna-
it's fine.
Dude, I'm not gonna do that to the ice mobile. Are you kidding me? We
See, that's the
probably
thing,
were
too.
there to see.
I mean, you have a point, but the thing is, like, see, the advantage of having a car that you don't really care about. You know what I'm saying? I mean, if you have a
Yeah.
really nice car, you're driving a BMW, a Lamborghini, a Mercedes Benz,
Never
you know,
owned
like
one of
a
those.
Bentley. You know,
Yeah,
I mean,
yeah.
these
Oh,
expensive
man.
cars.
You're praning.
Oh,
You're praning.
yeah, you'll be planning like, oh, let's say you're driving like a really nice Honda Civic, you know, loaded and you know, like
You're praning.
what do you call that? Um, what's the term? Like when you did something to it.
Modified.
Modified, right? So it's modified and whatnot.
probably.
But then you'll be planning, man.
Papogs. Papogs.
But
Or
take into
well, there's another
consideration
thing.
if it's just
there's
the
a-
Iceman
like-
on air
like-
car, it
kitted
doesn't
out.
matter.
Like, if it's
I
kitted
don't
out.
care.
Yeah.
My
Yeah, me
my
too.
dad would my dad would actually kick that car. You know what I'm saying? Like there was one time I don't know why he kicked it. He kicked it real hard because it won't open. I think the compartment like the you know the door behind because it was like there was a minivan, not a minivan. How do we call those things?
Daihatsu Super Carry.
Yeah, no. Like we have a term for that.
Multicab.
Multicab, yeah, it's a multicab,
Yeah.
right? So it's
Yeah.
that, you know, like minivan over here in Japan, like, you know, so you open it from, you know, at the back, so it won't open. For some reason, it was kind of stuck. So he just like kicked it, like he did this, you know, he did this. My wife was laughing hard because he was like kicking it, and he was like, "Holy,
And it
what are
hurt
you
so much.
kicking?"
It didn't hurt so much
Yeah,
for you.
yeah.
I mean,
See,
you
this
know,
is-
obviously it's still worth some money.
You're
but
not gonna kick
it
your
wasn't-
Civic. You're not gonna kick your
it wasn't-
Lancer. You're not gonna do
It
that.
wasn't a Bentley, you know. It wasn't a. I mean, I know people who own Porsches, you know, like, dude, if I had a Ferrari or a Porsche or like a Bentley or whatever, I'm like, I'm not taking that thing out. I'm just leaving it in my garage. Like, I'm not taking that thing out. But then again, people who own vehicles like that, you know, that's like expendable income, you know. So, but still, like, you know, I drive a secondhand car and I don't. I try not to take care of it so much. That's why I like buying pre-owned cars. Besides the fact that that's the only one I can afford, it's like you don't have that fear of getting the first scratch.
Right, pre-owned. Pero Hummer naman. Pre-owned Hummer.
Oh, well,
Pre-owned nga. Hummer naman.
that would be flip mode. That wouldn't be me. That would be flip mode. Right. That would be flip mode. That wouldn't be me. All right. GTRS at the back. That's not it. All right. But I've ridden it.
Really?
That's the first time I've ridden it. That's the first time I've
Hang
been
on,
inside
hang
a
on.
Hummer. I went inside
Seriously?
his Hummer.
Like
I'm
the Hummer has a
holy crap.
GTRS at the back?
Yes, it
Is it?
does.
Okay, I didn't notice.
What are you talking
I was
about?
in that Hummer, but
I
I
saw
don't
him
remember
at
there was a,
Abriza, dude. He parked that thing. I'm like, how the heck?
I know.
You're taking up 2 spaces here at Abriza without the freaking dude. I never like I've seen Hummers driving by all the time, right? I think this was an H2, so this was even like smaller than but the H3 I
Right.
think is smaller. But anyway, like we were at auto shop, so Flip Mode, the Mr. GTRS guy, you know, Mr. King Domingo, you know, parked it there. So I'm like, damn, that's huge. Bye. Pwede pa po. So I went inside, dude. It literally felt like I was driving a dump truck. Like it was so
know, right?
bigger, even. It's huge.
That's how I felt.
I was like,
That's how I felt.
oh my god, I
I
couldn't.
felt
get
like
that
I was in
thing
my
out of
living
my-
room.
I would be,
This feels like my mom's
at
living room
house.
right here.
dude. I wouldn't be able to drive. I don't think I'd be able to drive. I would be like, I would feel like I would
I
run
know.
over people I wouldn't know,
That's what I told
right?
him. I told him, if you give me this car, and he said like, no, I'm not gonna give you this car. I'm like, no, I know, but if you
I'm
give me
like,
this car, I wouldn't take it. I will
I'm
not
like,
take it because I can't drive it.
no.
It's too
And I
big.
never
It's too
imagined it
huge
was
for me.
that big. Like I see it from the outside. I was thinking maybe this is slightly bigger than a Jeep Wrangler. Maybe it's slightly bigger than an Everest, or maybe slightly bigger than a Land Cruiser or whatever. Dude, you get in a Hummer, like an H2. I'm telling you, it's literally like all you need is Netflix, right? You have your sofa there, like
Right, right.
Netflix and chill. I mean, it's huge. Like it's wide. It's wide. I think the term is
Netflix and
wide.
chill. Perfect.
Oh my god! So
You
I'm
do
like,
know
this is
what
not built
Netflix
for
and
Philippine
chill means,
roads.
right? You do know what it means, right? Netflix and chill.
Can you explain it to me? Because I have a different definition. I might have a different definition of it.
Really? You don't know what Netflix and chill is?
Netflix and chill, I guess.
Well, you have to Google it for yourself. But yeah, so
Like the real
you
meaning.
can. There's like an urban meaning for that. Hang on. I want to
Netflix and chill.
confirm.
Okay.
Netflix and
Oh, I
chill.
didn't know there was malice in that statement, but apparently Iceman sees the malice in everything.
Ah, see?
What? Can you share it?
I can't
Or
believe
it's
that
not?
you haven't heard of this. It means you are going to go over to your partner's house and fuck with Netflix in the background. Yeah, we just watched
Oh,
Netflix and
I mean
chilled.
that.
That's what it
Yeah,
means.
it's dude. It's a general statement, so you can throw in whatever Like
So yeah, but I'm
personally,
saying like
mine. Okay, I get
in
it.
the Hummer,
But
you can
personally,
Netflix and
uh,
chill. That's
I'm
what I was saying.
worse. I'm worse because
It
you know
doesn't
what I
matter.
like. No.
Even if
It
you're like,
used to be
even if you're in a pedicab, you can Netflix and chill
for
there.
for me. My setup used to be Sade, Sade's
Sade.
Diamond Life playing in the background, right? That's my thing.
Right.
But then, dude, like I got hooked on the UFC, Ultimate Fighting Championship. So it's
So
worse. Can you
UFC
imagine a
and chill.
woman my woman with me in bed, and like I'm literally like glancing over to see if Ronda Rousey's fight ended already? Well, dude, it got so bad. Because I mean, I'm pretty sure for a woman that's a major like diffuser, like literally like all this the romance just got sucked out. Because I mean, if you're watching Netflix and you're watching a rom-com and you're doing it, that's one thing, right? But if you have UFC on, and literally like Bruce Buffer's voice is like, it's time. And I'm like trying to do my sexy time. But my partner, like in this case, my wifey, knows that I'm like subconsciously paying attention to what Joe Rogan is saying and what's going on in the fight. Well, I mean, that's terrible. Guys are terrible, right? Like we can literally like have sex while watching mixed martial arts. Women are very, very kind of, but this is the topic for a different time. But I'm just saying, women are I think they're more conscious about the lighting, the scented candles. And I don't really know, but we'll talk about that. We'll talk about what's your ideal romantic scenario. That's a good topic for Thursday, you think?
Let's get it on.
Right. Because we talked about what's sexy
Let's
before.
get it on.
But what's your setup? Do you like it with the lights off, lights on, dim? What kind of music do you like playing in the
Maybe
background?
dim. I don't want it. I don't want it to be totally dark. Dim is okay.
Yeah, dim's nice. I don't want it to be too bright either. Like,
Yeah, dim's
because I
good.
mean, I'm not the one with issues. Well, maybe I do too, because I have a black butt. But it's probably more of like my woman. Women are like, I don't know, right? It's like, and I've never like. Okay, hold on. Are there like are motels naturally dim, or do they have what's it like every time like I'm sure you've walked in a motel, right? It's like you walk in, it's kind of like dimish, right? Like they have these like
It
lights.
is. Yeah, the setup there.
I
They try to build it that way,
so you can
to
brighten it
design it that way. I don't know. Like maybe some hotels have those what do you call those? Like dimmers,
dimmer.
but some are just like designed to be like that. They have those like
Yeah,
lights on the corner,
yeah.
but
I feel like
they're not sticking out. What's the
yeah,
term
I
for
feel like
that? Like
they
the
do that
normal
on
bulbs would be
purpose.
sticking out, but it's like
Yeah, it's inside, and then it's not that bright. It's like kind of yellowish
it's
kind of
not.
light that
Yeah,
they use, and usually they're in the corners or they're concealed, right? So there's this
true.
like dim light effect,
And I
and
think they have like those lampshades somewhere, or like
yes,
a stand, a lamp stand
I think they do that on
that you
purpose.
can use, right?
I think motels have bad lighting on purpose, and I think the reason is so that you don't notice that when you order the butter chicken, it's all neck. Diog ba ni bay? Sa man ni bay tawagan yung room boy mo. Sa man ni bay diog bay tanan.
Sir buhok mana sir ang fly day ni. Sorry.
So di ba butter chicken yung sabon man na. Oh. Anyways, so we have a reaction here from Jepoy. Ang yabang ng biker sa kakagigil. Well, that's coming from a guy who used to walk around saying he's a attorney.
What's his name again? Attorney who? Attorney
Pete or
Pete?
something.
Attorney Pete?
Yeah, Pete. Yeah, attorney. What was your name, Jepoy? Pete
Attorney
something.
Pete.
Yeah. You remember the name too? Like
yeah, like I remember Pete, but
This guy
I don't
used
recall
to,
the last
I'm
name.
telling you. Yeah, but no, because back then you could BS your way and people won't Google you. You know.
Yeah.
If
Now
people
there's
would-
Google, there's Facebook. They will know who
Literally
you are.
now, you see a girl at a bar, you can see you're an engineer, and she wouldn't know. Like she'd like, oh really? Yeah. Unless she'll tell you, well, I'm an engineer too. Then you're in trouble. Pete Vasquez, attorney Pete Vasquez. Ilan na bang nabiktima ni attorney Pete Vasquez? Magsilitawan na kayo.
Attorney.
Anyways,
Attorney Pete Vasquez.
this guy, this
Oh,
guy
shit.
this guy would carry around a pouch, like those. You always have those friends who carry a pouch,
Like those pouch.
naka-insert, nag-yoyosi.
Right.
You just have that vibe
Clutch
going
bag.
on, and I'm like
Clutch bag.
I look like a-
You call that a
I
clutch
look like a-
bag?
clutch bag, and I look like a skater guy. Like I look like his bodyguard.
Alalay mo ba to?
Yeah,
Ito alalay ko.
yeah. So anyway, see, attorney Pete Vasquez, physical injury yun. No? Ano yun?
Physical
RA
injury yun.
what?
True. RA, whatever. Yeah.
What was the violation? Anong violation yun? Attorney Pete Vasquez. Turn off the lights and leave the bathroom light on. Yes! Alam na alam ni Gab. Alam na alam ni Gab yung style. Motel moves. Turn off the lights, leave the bathroom light on. Lalo na pag
yeah.
she's washing up because there's the glass that you can tend to see the silhouette. Right, Ice? Alam ni Ice
Yeah.
yan. Alam ni Ice yan, di ba? There's a silhouette. Those were the days.
Those were the days.
Those were the days. All right. Physical injury on. So yeah, we were talking about the biker guys. We want to know your reaction. How would you have dealt with it? If you had dealt with it, would you deal with it differently? Obviously, hopefully you would. Like you wouldn't punch the guy. Because I mean, we're not talking about like arrogant bikers here. We're talking about arrogant people. So regardless of whether they were bikes, regardless if they were walking, regardless if they were driving cars, just like how they dealt with it and how there is a huge imbalance in our society where people are selective bullies. We are selective bullies. We bully people we think we can bully. I'm pretty sure if it was like a black SUV with like a something that with the blinkers or whatever that sideswiped them, they probably wouldn't even have bothered, right? It would have been like, like if those guys rolled down the windows and said, "Did we hit you?" They would have been like, "No, sir, okay lang," right? But the mere fact that it was a pandesal guy, bul natin yun, pucha ka yan, the sideswipe that, putang pakan ko yun, But like I said, if it was a big black SUV,
But this was in Cebu, so it's probably be said.
yeah.
Ataya to.
If it was a big black SUV with a Gun Pro sticker at the back, forget it, right? They
Pro
would have been
gun.
like, wala mo kanigo, bay. But it was apparent a Pro Gun, not Gun Pro. Pro Gun, see, I don't even know. Like, remember we were in college? Dude, we were in college. I so wanted that sticker. I didn't even own a gun. I so wanted a Pro Gun sticker because all my like Bugoy friends had a Pro Gun sticker at the back of their. And there's a meaning. You know what it means? Peaceful, responsible owners
of guns.
We just want to advertise that they own guns, right? But really, it's for peace. Like it's not about like intimidating people at all, right? But I remember I always wanted that sticker in the back of my car, even if I didn't own a gun. But anyways, wala sila ni Daniel Padilla. Nabangga yung Mustang niya. Siya pa nagbigay ng money sa nakabangga.
Compassion. That's what you call compassion. See? Rod was right in pointing out that it's the arrogance. It's not because, he's a biker. It just happened that he was a biker, then he was arrogant.
Yeah.
But that can happen to anybody.
Yeah.
Right? Exactly.
Padilla
I mean, Daniel could have done the same thing. He could have been arrogant. It could have been, He could have been just an asshole and just started
Yeah.
punching the guy, but then he
Yeah.
probably, he felt compassion for the other person.
He
So
did.
it's
He
like,
did.
whatever the circumstances, you can either choose to be an asshole or you can choose to be, you know, um, a normal or not normal, but like to be a compassionate human being.
Yeah. When that incident occurred, like Daniel Padilla never bought his Mustang out because everybody would be trying to hit him para mabayaran din sila. Bagay mo para makapera ka. Boom.
Right,
Yeah,
but
Padilla sold
then
the Mustang.
see, that's a downside as well. Please don't do these things, all right? And I mean, if you want to do it, don't don't let it be caught on video. Come on, man. I
Yeah,
mean,
yeah.
you
It
know
was
what
caught
it's
on video.
mean?
It's caught on video. 1 million daw yung bike niya. Really? The guy who punched that Pandesal dude said that his bike is worth 1 million?
Oh crap.
What the
Who
heck?
cares? Who cares?
1 million? Well, okay, I understand. I've seen bikes that go for that price. I mean, like a Santa Cruz bike, that's like around 300,000 pesos, man, at least, right? Like those Santa Cruz mountain bikes.
Yeah.
I have a friend who owns one.
I
I
heard.
think you know
I
him.
heard. It's around. It's
Jaspersky.
around that price range.
Jaspersky has a Santa Cruz bike.
He has. Holy
He
shit!
has.
I think Master
Uh,
Yoda has a Santa Cruz bike. Have you seen his bike?
uh,
Have you been to his
I know.
house?
Okay, here's what happened. Because his nephew's like riding around in this nice Trek bike, right, or Giant, whatever
Right.
that bike was, but it's nice. Like it's a nice bike. So I'm like, oh, is that your? He said, actually, may ano si Tito, may mahal talaga niya na bike, pero hindi niya pinapagamit, dinatago lang niya. So that must be it. That must be it.
Yeah,
He
that
has
that was
another
probably
bike.
it. I think I heard because I think
Yeah,
Footmo
that's
told me that
probably
he
the Santa
bought
Cruz bike.
a Santa Cruz bike. So,
Yeah,
mm,
those things are expensive, man. Santa Cruz bike. Santa Cruz bike.
right.
But I mean, like, I'm not. We're just saying the bikes. We're talking about like we're not saying like if you have expensive bike, you punch pandesal people. No, we're just talking about bikes. Like that's a separate conversation. It's an off-topic, sort of off-topic conversation. So the guy said na 1 million yung bike niya. So what? That entitles him to punch the guy. As if like the pandesal guy knows, like, oh, 1 million yan a bike. I'm gonna not hit it. But if it's not 1 million, I'm gonna hit it. Like, is he saying like that's mas mahal yung Miguel Cruz than Santa Cruz?
Miguel Cruz.
Depoy. I, actually, that's the guy who taught me how to ride a bike, Mr. Miguel Cruz of Equitrans Car Rentals. That's the guy who taught me how to ride a bike. It's like 50 years old. By the way, happy birthday to my happy 50th birthday to my sister Anna. I have not greeted her on Facebook yet, but happy birthday to her. It's her birthday
Your sister's
today.
50?
She's 50. The one who joined us on the show.
Wow.
Remember? She
Dude.
joined for a little bit. She's 50. She's 50.
Holy
50 today.
crap.
She's 50. And
Time flies.
yeah, time flies. She's
I'm
50.
talking to you and I'm thinking that we're still in our 30s.
Yeah, see, Jepoy knows her.
Holy
My
crap.
sister's nickname is Maui. So, yeah, she's 50. I know, man. I'm like, I remember when I turned 40, dude. And I was like, holy crap, my life is ending. Like, did you go through midlife crisis? Because I remember, I spoke to my dad. We were in we were in Virginia. And I remember my
Right.
dad celebrating his 43rd birthday. He was
Uh-huh.
already a consul general then in the DFA. And I know there are consuls who are much younger now because they start in the DFA. But at 40 to 43, I looked at him with so much respect. I looked at him as if he's like so old and full of wisdom. And he was only 43. I'm like,
But dude, he lived in
at
a
least
different time. And he had a different
I'm just 5
background.
years older than him, and I'm still playing PS5. Like, I never could imagine my dad doing the stuff I did, or wearing a Zelda shirt, or going to Toy Kingdom and buying games, or like, what the heck, man?
But
Like,
dude, you
did I-
rocked your whole 30s in the clubs. You know, I
right,
mean,
you're
you had
you're right,
so
you're right.
much fun. I
You're
mean,
right, we did.
sometimes now
We
when
did,
I
not me. We did. We did.
yeah, we did. That's what I'm saying. I'm talking to this co-teacher who's like older than I am. We're talking, and I always tell people, like the ones who are younger than I am, I always tell them like, well, if you can, just like hold it off, and I mean, if you can stay single for as long as you can, do that, because I'm telling you, it's a different playing field. It's a different thing. It's a different game. So if you can
It
stay
is.
single for as long as you can, do that.
Yeah.
And I kind of like always have that tune. I sing that tune all the time. I always tell people like,
Yeah.
hey, it's really nice to be single. You don't have responsibilities. You can go wherever you want. You can do whatever you
Yes.
want. I mean,
Yeah.
you don't have to
I
wake
agree.
up to
I agree.
a baby crying. You know what I'm saying? So
Yeah.
it's I always tell them that. And
And
then she told me that, what's the reason why you're saying all these things? Because you had too much fun. You had too much fun. You loved your life I
good
mean,
point.
she told me
That's
that.
a good point.
Yeah, I understand, because she knows how much I love snow and how much I love my family
Yeah.
and whatnot. But she was
Yeah.
telling me like, well, I mean, you had the best of both worlds, and you
Yeah.
had a really nice life before you got married. So you always
Yeah.
tell people to like, hey, if you can hold off, if you can just like, just wait for a bit, if you can stay single for as long as you can, do it. But then she was
Yeah.
telling me like, but not all people were like having fun when they were single. They were like
Yeah. Yeah.
miserable when
Yeah.
they were single.
Yeah.
But
Yeah. Yeah.
you
Yeah.
had so much fun, so that's why.
That's
She's like, all right.
I never
She
saw it
wasn't
that way.
criticizing me or anything. She was just like telling me, I'm like,
No, I
right. I
get
think she
it.
has a point. She has
I
a
never
point.
saw it that way. I never saw it that way because, like, you're right. Like, I never saw it that way because we shared the same experiences when we were single, and of course, you don't want that to end. But what about
Exactly.
those people
That's
who
why we
went to
have
the
so much
club?
gripes right now.
Yeah, 'cause we would, yeah, because we would go to the club, dude. Like, we literally like would turn it down. Like this was like club overload. It really came to a point where like, okay, here's that song again. These are these girls again. This is the drink again. This is,
Dude, we were the
like,
ones who were like, "Ah, clubs
required to
again
go. And I
on a
would see like
Tuesday. I don't
people.
want to go there anymore." Like we were like burned
Both of
out.
us.
We had a
Dude,
burnout.
Tuesdays,
Everybody had a
Thursdays,
burnout.
Fridays, Saturdays, we were in the club. In a week, at least 4 times we were in the club. At
Right.
least in a week. And we had to be there. It wasn't like let's go. You know, I'm in the mood. No, whether you're in the
Yeah,
mood to
we
go to
have
the
to
club
be
or not,
there.
we
And
have to
it's
go.
not like we're spending
Because
anything because we get free drinks and
no,
whatnot.
it's all free.
So I
Fine.
mean, people be like, "Wow, that's really nice. Don't you want it?" I'm
Yeah.
like,
But
"Yeah," but then
but
I mean, you still get a burnout.
But you know what I realized, I remember like I would sit there and like with you guys and we'd be drinking, or you don't drink but you would be like and I would see these like group of guys, and they're so excited, they're wearing their best clothes, and like nobody knows them, like literally like they don't know what to do, like they
And
have to
we're
make it a
there.
drink.
We're being
Yeah, but
forced to
like
be there. I'm like,
and no,
damn
no,
it.
because I was thinking these guys probably go to the club like maybe once a month, and when they go there it's like they're looking to meet people. Like nobody really like us. We go there. We know the DJs. Heck, the DJ in the booth is our co-DJ. Like a guy works with
Even if we
us. Well,
close our eyes, we won't get lost. We won't
we
bump into the
know
tables or whatnot because we memorize the place.
a
We
guy
can walk
managing the
around
place,
the
the
club with
bouncers,
our eyes closed.
right?
We'll be
The
fine.
bouncers, like everybody
Yeah.
would be like lined up and like paying their tickets and stuff. And the
Even
bouncers like
Master
literally
Yoda
like
became a
we
DJ.
would
Like
bring
they know
we would
Master
bring a
Yoda.
friend.
Yeah,
Bye,
and
killer
they're
B,
like
killer
DJs
B,
too.
killer B,
Killer B.
bye, killer B. The bouncer's
uh,
like, "Sige,
Sir,
like.
sir.
And then when we get a drink, oh, say mo ba, say ba. So we like, I'll go. I mean, like, literally, we were like,
Yeah,
okay,
Yoda was at
but
that point. Yoda would just like go in the club and he'd be just like, "Oh, Killer B. Okay, okay, Killer B na siya, Killer B."
Brando, dude, what are you talking about? Brando would do the Harlem, like he would do dance moves to get into Killer B. Iceman, Iceman. Like, he would pretend like he stepped out of the club and he's walking back in, like so he doesn't get noticed. Like,
Oh
Iceman,
my
Iceman, Iceman,
god!
Iceman, Killer B. I mean,
Right?
like you're right. So when your friend told you that, and she said, "That's easy for you to say. It's because you had a fun time when you were single." What about the
Right.
people who were single who, had to jack off to porn because they can bring home a girl? Or what about women who have never been
They can't
kissed
even talk to
and
women in the clubs. I mean, we can
yeah,
talk
I
to
mean,
women everywhere. We can go to a coffee shop. We can go to a
we were
club.
just
We can go
fortunate,
to a
but
supermarket. We can go to anywhere. We can just like
you're right.
easily
You're
talk to
right. You're
people.
right. I get it. So I get it. So that's why there are people out there who actually long for domestic bliss because that's the only time they'll have a companion in life. That's the only time
Right.
they have
That's
somebody
true.
to talk to who's not a member of
Hmm.
their family or that their
Hmm.
mom or their dad or their sibling. And yeah, it was kind of unfair. So when you brought that up, I just like, yeah, you're right. Why did I just realize that when we say being single is fun, that applied to us, but that does not necessarily apply to everybody, right?
Hmm.
Because there are people out there who are single, eating alone, cup noodles alone, watching rom com, or literally
Right.
like, and some people enjoy that being alone, but not everybody. What if you're a people person, but there are just no people that approach you? There's just no opportunity for you to meet people, you
That's
know?
true.
But you're right. You're right. I get
right?
it. But for me, when I tell people stay single, if I ever tell people to stay single, when I see that they're not like quite at that state yet where they're really ready to settle down, which I'm not really sure what the signs
I
are,
don't think
but I kind of
anybody's
knew it
ready
from
to
a couple.
settle down.
Yeah, yeah,
Doesn't
yeah. But
matter
I
how
mean, there
old you
is
are, nobody's ready for these things.
no, but there are people who like that's what they want because, like you said, being single isn't fun for them anymore, or they
That's my
never really had fun when they were single.
Come on, man.
But
That's what
see,
my wife wanted. She was begging for
yeah,
a
and now
baby.
she's
She was
regretting it.
longing for a baby. Yeah, I know. She's like, I want to have
Yeah,
a
yeah,
baby.
yeah.
I
You're right. You're
wanna have
right.
a baby."
You're right.
When the baby came out, she can't even take the baby to the freaking park. I have to do
Yeah,
that for
you're right.
her, right?
You're right. You're right. You're right. You're right. I get it. I mean, like it's the same thing. I mean, it's the same thing. It's like. But what I tell people is I don't tell them that stay single because it's fun for you. It's more of like stay single because it's not gonna be fair to your wife or your husband or your children if you jump into marriage or you have a family and you're not ready. It's not fair for them. I think it's more of like, yeah, get it over it. Do your as much fun as you can being single. And then when you feel like you've sold your wild oats, then if that's what you're looking for, if you think you'll find, you know, a happy, quiet life settling down, go ahead and do it. But don't do it because you're in love with the idea of it, because it will not be fair to the people that you because what if they come in committed to the marriage or the partnership or the family thing, and you're not, right? Okay, lang if you're both in the same boat. Like she's also like, yeah, I'm fine with this situation. Okay, but like, what if they come in like super committed and you're like half baked, like di ka pa nagsawa, Because I've seen so much of that. I have friends who you know got married, and the girl's like all in, like siya lang yung naging boyfriend, siya lang yung naging whatever, and she didn't really want anyone else either. Like, well, you can tell, like she's just like she committed 100% to this guy, and that's it. Like, maybe probably even sacrifice her career for the guy. And the guy's like, I was kind of like, just forced into this because the girl got preggers, and
Mhm.
the girl got pregnant, and he was like, so so I actually got to thinking, what if I got my first serious girlfriend pregnant? Do you think that would have worked out? No, I would have fallen out of love. I would have been done with whatever it was that happened.
It's one of my
And I would have
biggest
been.
fears,
It was one of
getting
my
somebody
biggest
pregnant.
fears. Yes,
Man, that was.
and and and
I mean,
and
I
not
was in that
intending to get it
situation.
right.
Those times when
Yeah,
somebody's telling you that, oh, I'm late. Like, what? What are you talking about? Like, uh,
yeah,
don't have it yet. Like,
yeah,
what?
yeah,
Then like your mind starts racing. Where am I gonna go? Am I gonna go to Cebu? Am I gonna go to I'm gonna go to Manila? I'm just gonna run. I'm gonna hide.
yeah,
So I
yeah.
mean, it shows that I'm not really ready. There was this one
You're not ready.
girl that I dated, and she told me she was late, and I think she saw through me. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
I wasn't myself. I was a bit irritable, and
you were not excited. You were stressed.
yeah, yeah, I looked a lot stressed at that point, and she was just like, "Don't worry about it. Like, if I get pregnant, I'm not gonna go after you. I'm not gonna make you, um, take the responsibility or whatever. You don't have to marry me or anything. Like, I don't care." So I just felt bad for that person because I was just like, well, that's kind of like unfair to her, right? So it's
Yeah,
see, that's the thing. So I don't want to be, because I'm thinking that if I get somebody pregnant and I'm not in it 100%, but I would be forced into it because I'm always, I always try to be responsible. I always try to
yeah,
face the consequences of my actions. So it's more of
yeah,
like, you
yeah,
get somebody pregnant, then you have to
yeah,
face the consequences. Like, I don't know, be a
yeah,
father to the kid because it's unfair to the kid.
yeah.
So I don't want to be
Provide,
in
be a
that position.
provider.
Like, I'd be like, I'd probably do that, then it would probably cause more problem.
It's gonna be
It
tough,
will it
man.
will
It's gonna
yeah,
be
it will cause more problems for the other
tough.
person and for the kid. So I didn't want to be in that position. And thank God I didn't. Look at me now. I'm in a position where I wanted a kid. I love my kid, but I'm still all stressed out.
Yeah,
Imagine
yeah.
if
It
you
is stressful.
but
It's
but
stressful.
but but then I'm thinking, because we care too much. But if you're in a situation where you don't really care, you wouldn't be
Yeah, yeah.
stressed. You're
Like
like, I
like
don't
like
care.
some of the dads that we
Whatever.
know. There are some guys that we know that were dads.
Whatever.
But like we
Sure.
don't see it. Like
They're
you don't
not
see it.
stressed because they don't care.
They drink. They're drinking till 4
Eh,
a.m. They're with a
yeah,
different girl every night. I'm like, don't
exactly,
you have
right?
kids? Do you have kids? Ah, mabuhay man to. Di pa man to? Ginawa pa man. I mean, like, dude, really? Because, like, I'm thinking about his milk running out already, and the box of milk that my kid has is like freaking 2,500 pesos. I mean, when I literally
Right,
go to the
right.
groceries, I'm only buying like trash bags, and then the bill's like 5,000. I'm like, huh? Oh, because I bought a box of milk. You know what I'm saying? It's like, okay, and the diapers. I mean, it's like, okay, so I mean, I'm not even talking about it in the expense kind of thing. But it's part and parcel of it. But I think the bottom line here is, had we gotten somebody pregnant at a time when we were not ready. I mean, when I say ready, like you said, nobody was really ready. But it helps when you're at least old enough, when you're at least financially stable enough, when you're at least kind of like you've done some things that you wanted to
Gabby,
do that
listen.
you can, right?
Jepoy,
That
listen.
you can only do when you're single. I mean, those it helps. I mean, it helps to kind of like kasi kung may konsyensya ka at pananagutan yung magiging anak mo, it makes it the process easier if you've done selfish things already, if you have
Hmm.
a little bit saved
Right.
up, if maybe you at least own a car or at least have a stable job, it helps. Can you imagine being in a situation where you get a girl preggers and you literally like don't have any savings, you don't even have a bank account, for crying out loud. The most expensive thing that you own is probably your bicycle or your Xbox, and you literally you don't even know if you're going to inherit the house because there's maybe 10 of you in the family, and everybody wants to earn that. It's like, what are you going to do? You didn't finish school or whatever. I'm like, and even if you did, maybe the course that you took up, there's like 50 million applicants to that. It's like it's the most freaking saturated market for jobs in the world. So it's hard. I mean,
It is hard.
the lesser your chances of making it, because Iceman and I, like I got married at 34. I became a dad at 37. So even if let's say I wasn't ready yet because I wanted to tick time pa, or I still did want to do things, but at least at 37, may konsensya na ako, right? At least at 37, after what Ice and I have been through when we were DJs and all that stuff, at least I can honestly say, okay, hindi naman ako na-deprive, right? So maybe there will be a side of me now, okay, maybe I won't be the most loving husband. Maybe I might end up with another woman. But at least to the kid, may konsensya ako enough to at least make sure that I can be a dad for the kid. And I think Iceman is on the same boat with me, because
Right? I mean, look at Ron. I
you're
mean, look at him.
right.
He bought a house. He bought his kid a piano, a grand piano for that matter.
Yeah, look,
Right?
he's not
Very
even using
portable
it.
sofa.
He's
True.
complaining. He's like, Dad, I don't like that piano. I want Tito Iceman, Iceman's piano. It's digital. Whatever it is. It's a keyboard.
He built a
See, now I want to
fireplace.
see what's a piano. Yeah, I built a fireplace and it's freaking like 98 degrees in a house. And this is just the maid's quarters. I'm kidding. But I mean, but you know what we're saying. It's like, think twice. I mean, I spoke to CJ. You know CJ, right? CJ is 16 years old. And we're going to have
Right.
him as a guest in one of our episodes when we talk about puberty and being a teenager and those
Right.
critical years in your life na pag nadapa ka, yung wound na yun you'll carry for the rest of your life. If you
Hmm.
get somebody pregnant at 16, at 17, 18, you're going to carry that for the rest of your life. You're either A, going to have to mature and grow old and have to put yourself in situations to earn money to raise a family at an age where you're still supposed to be having fun and learning, or you can be an a-hole, neglectful, irresponsible dad and grow old and say, I'm ready now to face my kid, and your kid hates your guts. Either way, it's a lose-lose situation, right?
That's true.
Right? It is. It is. So I'm telling CJ that. I'm telling Siege, your dad became a dad at a young age. I'm pretty sure, even if let's say some people get through it unscathed, some people survive that stage where it's because they have a strong support system. They have a family who supports
Hmm.
them. They have parents who understand their dilemma and predicament. They have people who will help them pay for the hospital bills and all that stuff, and take care of the kid, take care of you or whatever. But think about your situation. So that's why when we were at that resort house, I was telling him to watch over Rai, Diego, because Rai's like all over, and he's like, He was like giving me the kids, like, see, you haven't even been with a kid for an hour.
It's not easy. It's not easy.
It's not. It's not. So you want the truth? You can't handle the truth.
Joe Boy, does Joe Boy have a family?
He has a daughter, beautiful daughter. He has a beautiful
All
wife.
right. Cool.
He's, all-
Cool.
he's but Joe Boy's one of those guys who has a good head on his shoulders. Like I don't see this guy like making very many mistakes. I don't see.
Right.
There are people who are just like that. They know how to go through life gracefully.
Good for him. Good
And
for
Joe
him.
Boy's Jeff Boy, on the other hand, no, Jeff Boy's good. He doesn't have
Ilang
kids yet.
panganay? Ilang panganay?
Jeff Boy, may anak ka na ba? Come on, tapatin mo kami. Do you have
5,
kids?
puro panganay.
Oh, wise guy. What's going on? Or you always bring a talong with you.
Talong. Sariwa.
Wala pa. Jepoy. No, Jepoy has a lot of nephews and nieces though. So, I have friends who are uncles, and yung mga anak ng kapatid nila, they treat us their kids. So they're like, they don't have that excitement to have their own yet because they always have somebody to play with. Or maybe they see the stress of their siblings taking care of their kids, respective kids, that they're like, nah, I'm not ready for that yet. Like, and sometimes we see our friends like that, right? When we didn't have kids yet. Remember when we didn't have kids yet, and we would like see our friends who have kids, and you see them like, parang singot, and they're carrying the kid, and they're like, oh bay, lagi bay, and like, upa na nutbras, and t-shirt kay hardware, and we're like, oh yan, ito naman ka.
Pagminyo.
Di ka kalagbay? Di ka kalagbay? Like, but you have to admit, we admire them for their effort. We even if they're in that state, we probably deep inside admire them that they made that sacrifice. Because we also have friends who have 10 kids and are partying it up at the bar more than we are when we still didn't have kids. And that I have much less respect for, to be honest. Like, yeah, sure, you're a cool dude, but I know your story. And you're just fortunate enough that the women you have kids with are able to support the children on their own. Like we have, and that I'm kind of like have kind of less of a, if don't even know where their kids are. They probably haven't even seen their kids in like 15 years. I mean, I'm not judging people here. I'm just saying, yung mga naningkamot, you kind of have to applaud them for that. That even if they don't have a slim fighting chance, at least naningkamot, diba? Like,
right, because it's just so easy to walk away. It's so much
easy to
harder
walk
to
away.
stay.
So and women don't understand that about men, and we can never justify it, But it's I don't know. It's if men really went with what nature is when it comes to like what nature's dictated about men.
But I think it's also a blessing in disguise for the women. At least they walked out in your life, at that
Yeah, they could have
early
been
stage.
jerks. Yeah,
Yeah, they could have been
nakamove on ka
jerks
pa.
in the
Nakamove on ka
relationship.
pa.
Yes, exactly.
Yeah,
So at least you
nakamove on
already
ka pa.
know where you stand. You can like, all
Good
right,
point.
so you're gonna leave me.
That's a
Okay,
good point.
then I'll have to just do this on my own. Like wing it. Rather than,
Yeah,
all right, I'm gonna be forced into this marriage or whatever.
yeah,
Then we don't have divorce. So she's gonna be
yeah,
stuck in the marriage that's not gonna work.
yeah,
And I mean, going through like we don't have divorce yet, so going through an annulment, that's crazy, man. I mean,
yeah,
then the emotional torture of
yeah,
like having a partner that doesn't really care about you or your kid, that's
yeah.
that's another story. So if they walk out on you the very moment that they found out
It's
that
easy
you're
for you to
you're,
get
you're
up.
pregnant,
You have
that's a blessing in disguise.
because
they
I've
they
seen so
saved
many
you
women.
all the misery that you were
I've
about
seen
to
so many.
actually get into.
That's a perfect point. It's a perfect point because I've seen so many women where they get married and they're still practically girls. They're not even women yet, and they
Hmm.
get married or maybe they settle down with the guy, and they think they can save that and make it work. And and it goes on for maybe 10 years or 15 years, and nalosyang na lang sila. They took on all the stress of dealing with this irresponsible
Exactly,
bum of a
exactly.
husband.
See.
Nalosyang na lang, nawala na yung beauty nila. They gave up all their opportunities for their careers, and they're brilliant women, they're smart women, and this guy's like mabisyo, na batugan, na walang kwenta. And then at the end of the day, naghiwalay din. And the guy
Exactly,
just steps off
exactly.
and like, dupes another woman into,
Yeah, same
basically kind of.
situation, same
And
situation.
but
Yeah.
but this woman who sacrificed her practically her whole life to this one guy who just at the end of the day would leave her, and she's so sucked dry already that she has nothing left for herself. Kawawa, right? So Iceman's actually right. It's sometimes it's a blessing in disguise when the guy just like walks away and doesn't even like take care of your kids, because then that gives you an opportunity to meet somebody sooner. It gives you an opportunity to move on with your life sooner. You know, parang it's like, okay, what's a more painful breakup? Yung 1 month lang kayo on, then naghiwalay kayo? Or freaking 20 years kayo on, then naghiwalay kayo? It's harder to recover from the 20-year relationship breakup, right? Than
Right.
the 1 month.
But maybe that 20 years was like really, like a long time coming. Maybe at the 10th year they were already like bored to death, with
Yeah.
each other's presence. So they were by the time they reached
Yeah.
20, it's like, all right, cool. You want to
Yeah.
walk out? Ah, fine,
Yeah.
I'm good.
And it's
I'm
and when
sick
I
and
say
tired of your face.
painful, when I say painful, I don't mean painful like you're gonna miss that person. No, painful because parang
All right,
nagsaya ako ng 20 years. Di ba? Not that kind of painful. You
you
know what
have
I'm
a
saying?
point. No,
It's
you
like,
have a point.
that's what
Yeah,
I meant.
no, that is
That's what I
painful.
meant. I didn't mean like,
That is
oh, I'll
painful.
miss her
You
20 years.
you can't you
You're not
cannot take
painful.
back those 20 years.
Diba?
You cannot
You
take it
cannot
back.
take back those 20
Yeah, you could
years.
have done something different,
Yeah,
something else,
so
something
much.
productive,
Diba?
something that would make you happy.
And,
Holy crap,
and
you have a point, Rod.
in, the,
You have a
in
point.
those 20 years, you've been watching your friends from Friendster to Facebook. Pucha, naka-Lexus na. Nakatira na sa Florida. Nasa UK na. You know, all your friends are
Right.
like moving on in
And
their
you're
life.
stuck with
And
that
you're like,
somebody who just wasted your time. Holy
it's like
crap.
Friendster na lang, naging Facebook na lang, naging Instagram na, naging TikTok na. And
Holy
you're like,
shit. Holy shit.
right? And you're like,
You have a
damn,
point.
20 years naman.
You have a point.
I got stuck in first gear with this person. I didn't even get to second gear, first gear, and it happens. So I think sometimes the sooner the better, the sooner the better, because then, if you know it's gonna happen, it's gonna happen. Walking
Right.
out on a girl and walking out on your kid are two different ball games. Okay, okay. Now that's a good point. That's a good point. Now, like with my dad, like my dad and my mom, they separated, but my dad never stopped being a dad. And I know, like, every birthday, Christmas, he would call us. Every he would send. I know he would send money. I would always get Legos from him. I always got like Masters of the Universe, all these like cool toys. I never got toys from my mom. I'd get toys from my dad. He never stopped being a dad. But obviously, his opportunity to be with us is very limited. He would only see us a few weeks in a year. He never spent Christmas with us. Never, but he never stopped being a dad, and he never exerted that effort. And I felt that effort. I knew it, even though my mom was the one controlling, everything, because we were with their mom. I know my dad exerted effort, and even if maybe my mom, wasn't really 100% in good terms with my dad, I guess my dad exerted enough effort for mom to actually not be able to deny him out of our lives. Like, he was there, he was in our lives, and I think that was a weird setup, and I don't know any different, because, like I said, it's my two older sisters who experienced them together. I never did, so I don't know any different. That's the life I know. But at the end of the day, I love my dad, I love my mom. Um, I wouldn't know if I would love them together, but it wasn't so bad when they were apart. It wasn't so bad when they were apart, mainly because my Lola was there. My Lola kind of like made everything easier, I think, she was there. She was home to me. And I think the bottom line there is that's what you need. All right. You need a home. It doesn't have to be your mom. It doesn't have to be your dad. It doesn't have to be any of your parents. It doesn't have to be your Lola. But you have to have a home. I think every child has to have a home. And when I say home, I mean like a person who will take them in spite of everything. I think that's the most important thing. Because if a child
Right.
he has a dad, has a mom, pero walang home, di ba? Parang,
Mhm.
pucha man, di ba? Like, let me ask you, Ice. You have a home. When you say you have a home, you literally have a home. Like, I'm not talking about your home in Japan. I'm talking about like a home with your mom and dad and your siblings. I
Right.
mean, you can't even just decide who to save in a sinking ship, your mom or your dad, because you're so used to seeing it as a collective thing,
True.
right?
True.
Right? That's home
I
to
would say
you.
home
If
is
you
where
take
the
one
heart
of
is. So my heart is with my family. So it's really
yeah,
kind of hard
yeah,
too. Because like even
yeah,
up to now, like my family, if you ask me about family, the default would be my mom, dad, brothers and sisters. That's my family. So it's like
yeah,
when people are like, oh, your family, like, oh, I forget that I already have my own family. My mother, my mom reminds me that I have my own family now. She's the one reminding us, me, my brothers, all of us are like
yeah.
that. Well,
Because you're
not all of
still
us,
very strong attachment. You have sepangs.
right?
You have sepangs, right?
I think only the one in Canada who's like, like he's like good with like, oh, I have my own family now. But me, Reese and Miko, like Aldon, we're like still at that, like that mentality that our family is,
Yeah.
brothers, sisters, like, mother. So that's my family. But my mom would
Mm,
always, remind me, hey, you have your own family now. Your priority
yeah.
is your family, your
It's
wife,
good for her. It's good for
Sno-chan,
her to remind you.
right? So
Because
it's always
think
like, all
about it.
right,
Think about it. What if your mom and your wife they don't get along? Who would you
that's true.
choose? You're actually going to be in dire straits with a situation like
That's
that
true.
because
That's true.
you're so close to your mom too,
But then that's
right?
why I was so careful because I would never be in that situation because I know my mom. If my mom's pissed, she's pissed. My dad, like he's cool. But then my mom, like she was the most important piece, like the one that I'm gonna end up with should get along with my mom, or else everything would be in,
Yeah, yeah.
in
You're
shambles.
I mean
But
like you said, you're lucky that that's the case. But for
right,
me it's
right.
like if ever that happens, like if I have to choose between my mom and my wife. And when I say I have to choose, like I don't have to hate my mom. It's just who will I like side with or who will like I would choose my wife
But the
because
thing too,
you
the
know,
thing too with me and my wife though, like my wife already told me that he's never gonna choose me over her father, and
oh
so
really?
she
Oh
was,
crap,
yeah,
then choose
she
your
was
mom.
clear. Yeah, she was clear. She was clear from day
Dude,
one. Like
forget
I
it
love my
then.
father.
Choose your
Like
mom.
whatever happens, my father comes first. I'm like, all right, fine, I'm cool with that. But then she
Really?
knows the deal too with
Oh
me. It's like my
man.
family comes first. Like
Yeah.
everybody, my
Well,
dad, my
I'm
mom.
not
Like
gonna
so,
make my
it's more. So
yeah.
the deal was like I have to love. I have to love her parents the way she loves them, and she has to love my family the way I love them. So
Yeah.
that was the
We
deal.
don't
So now we don't have any conflict because I understand. I would never compete with her father because
yeah.
I know the answer to that.
You know,
So
she
it's like,
already told you.
yeah,
Yeah.
because she already told
Even
me.
though even though you
Sorry.
would not you even though you would not put her in that position, I know you wouldn't put her in that position even if you have a disagreement with the dad. That's such a
Yeah,
tough thing
yeah,
to put
yeah,
your wife through, right? And I know deep in my heart, if I like I think it's just a matter of I think for me it's like who's the bad guy here, But at the end of the day, like because I know my mom and I know her quirks, right? And and I've lived with her long enough and I know my wife, and I've lived with her long enough. And to be honest with you, I could live more at peace with my wife than with my mom. I love my mom, but we clash too much. We argue too much. She's such a strong
because you are
personality,
your
but she doesn't even
mom.
care.
You are your mom.
She has a very
Same
strong
poles don't
personality.
attract. That's what they say. Same
Yan
poles
na,
do
yan
not
na nga,
attract.
yun na nga eh. So, like, even if I
Me and
tell
my
my mom,
dad, we
I'm
fight a
definitely gonna
lot.
choose my wife. Yeah, and because I mean, I think that kind of creates tension in a family too, and that's why for me it was like it's so important. Well, maybe for me it wasn't so important that my parents would get along with the woman I will marry because first off, I'm gonna make sure we're not gonna live in the same roof. Like I'm not gonna
Right.
live in the same roof with my wife and my parents. No way. My mom can come for vacation, but nah, she ain't staying here for more than a month. Because I know my she's not saying it for more than a month. I know people are saying, what if your mom gets sick and she has to be with you? My wife offered me that. My wife's like, Mama can stay with us if she can't live alone anymore. She can come here, she can stay with us because my wife is that affectionate and that
Right. Because
strong with
she's
family
like that to her
values.
family.
She's that
Right.
to her
So yeah.
family.
So yeah,
Yeah.
I get that. I
Maybe,
get
maybe I
that.
would have issues with it. Maybe like if she decides to take care of her family or like her dad or something, like he'd stay with her. Maybe I wouldn't have any issues as long as they don't interfere with our affairs in the house. Like if it's just about caring for the sick, that's fine. I cared for my Lola when she was sick, that's fine. But if it's the kind of person like my mom is, who would literally like dictate what plants you should have or what you should feed your children, or like, ano ba yung mga ano nyo, pinapanood nyo? Yeah, man, you know what? This is my house. You know what I'm saying? I'm an adult, you're an adult, get out of here. So that's the
Ah,
biggest,
shut up.
exactly. It's like, yeah, but at the end of the day, like that's a tough situation for anybody. Like I wouldn't want to have to choose between my mom and my wife. But if that time comes, I'm pretty sure I'm gonna choose my wife. Like I'm gonna tell my mama, sorry, I love you. You're gonna have to go with Ate. You have to go with my sister if that's gonna happen.
Reset.
But 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 I mean, but like what you said, that's not gonna. But with you, it's like your wifey told you. All right, like
Yeah.
I'm gonna choose my dad. My wifey,
But it's fine
I
with
know
me.
deep
It's
inside,
fine with me because I'm so like,
you're gonna
well,
choose your
I
mom. You're
kind
gonna
of like,
because you're gonna choose your
yeah.
mom. It's fair.
Yeah, exactly. So it's just like, oh, it's fair.
So,
I get where you're coming from. So you'll
at the
choose
end of
your
the
dad over
day,
me. I'll choose my
at the
family
end of
over
the
you.
day,
My mom,
it's
my
it's back
dad,
to
my
square
brothers, my
one.
sisters.
Ba't pa kayo kinasal? Magsiuwihan tayo, tara.
No, but the thing is, we understand each other like too much, or like so well that like we don't have disagreements over it. Like even with Aldon, Aldon is like the least. He's my least favorite in my family. All right. Now I love my family, but he's my least favorite. He annoys
He's the
me.
last one you would save on a sinking ship. Let's put it that way. Kabalo man na mo swimming. Kabalo na.
No, dude, the things I went through when
Yeah,
he got into trouble, he stressed me out a lot. Remember that time?
of
Remember
course
that
I remember that
issue?
time.
Yeah, like I was like I lost weight and whatnot. So I mean, this guy was like stressing me out. So he's my least favorite because he gives me too much stress, even before I had my own family. So now the thing is, like we understand each other so well that even with Aldo, like I told you, like he's my least favorite. She wouldn't even like say she wouldn't even speak ill of Aldo. She would never dare that. Yeah, I mean, so even when there was this one time that there was like this sort of issue, it's like a sort of a internal family issue, and somebody said something like, "Oh, my wife said it," like something really, like my wife said this. Somebody told someone in the family that my wife said this about him or someone in the family, and Aldo was just like, "No, I'm not buying that. No, 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 no." Like she would never say that. So because they know, like she would never do such a thing.
Yeah,
Like she would never speak
yeah,
ill of anybody in the family because she knows
yeah,
the consequences. Like she would know,
yeah,
like how I would feel about it. Like I can take care of my family. I can deal with them. Like I know
yeah,
how to deal with them. Don't
yeah,
get involved. I'm not gonna get involved in yours. Don't get involved in mine. So I always
yeah.
like, yeah, that was like sort of the thing, our
Okay.
agreement or whatever.
With Joe Boy
Mhm.
saying, ang asawa na papalitan. I remember this movie before. There was a line that says, ang asawa na papalitan, ang anak di na papalitan. Right? Now, here's the thing. That line's applicable maybe if it's like the second wife, right? But not the wife who's the mom of the kids you're talking about, right? You know what I'm saying? Like,
Mhm.
like for example, there's a conflict between, like, I'm the dad, right? And I
Right,
have kids from a previous marriage or previous
right,
partnership. I have
right,
kids, and then nag-away sila ng anak ko with the stepmom, with the new
right,
with my new wife or whatever, and then I have to choose. So then that line will be applicable. Like, yeah, ang asawa na papalitan, pero ang anak hindi. But if I'm talking if I'm
Rod,
referring to
Rod.
the woman who is the mom of the
Mm,
kids,
right.
I don't think mapapalitan yun because your love for the kids, dude, they're half their mom. So it
You're
means if
right.
you love
You're
your
right.
kids, it's
I agree. I
they
agree.
won't exist without the mom. So hindi mo rin
Hmm.
pwedeng palitan yun, right? Because I mean, they're you see, like if I look at Raj, I see my wife in him. If I
Right.
look at Diego, I see my wife in him. I'm not gonna just see him and say he's mine, like I just made him. No, but if it's like a
Pwedeng
stepmom,
dagdagan ang anak.
no, I don't think it's an issue. Like,
Di-
like,
Pwedeng
think
palitan.
about it.
Hindi pwedeng
Think about
palitan,
it.
pwedeng
You
dagdagan.
okay? Why do we always hear about this thing? Like most movies, it's all about like the evil stepmother. Dad's usually like, if it's a stepdad, he's really usually chill. Like he's cool. Like you don't really
Right.
hear of an evil stepdad, right? Because guys
No,
usually we just
meron.
like
Lasenggo lang. Lasenggong stepdad, nambubugbog,
no, no, no.
nanunugan,
Usually no.
nagsusugal.
Usually no. Usually no. Usually the story there is the original dad was the Lasengo. Kaya nga pinalitan ng stepdad,
All
right?
right. Okay.
Women usually upgrade. Women usually upgrade. Men, on the other hand, usually downgrade. Like
All
yung
right.
unang
So
asawa,
usually, so what you're saying is
matalino.
women
Kaya sila
usually
naghiwalay.
fuck
Kasi
up,
matalino nga yung
men
asawa
usually
eh.
fuck down. That's what you're saying.
Yes.
It's what you're saying, yeah?
Yes.
All right.
Yes. Because for example, naghiwalayan sila kasi yung asawa matalino. Hindi niya napapaikot. He can't run circles around her. He can't like make up stories and she'll fall for it. So what does he do? He replaces the smart wife with a wife who's much younger and naive, or just like kind of loves him for his money. So he's like, okay, less hassle. Usually that happens. But what I'm saying is, with with guys, if like if a woman marries ang asawa lasing pinalitan ng adik,
Wait, set.
that like
Oh, holy
that's like
crap. Holy crap.
anyway. All I'm saying is usually you never hear of an evil stepdad. I don't think there's a Disney movie where there's an evil stepdad. Maybe Pinoy movies, there's like Dick Israel,
Right.
Romy Diaz who's like, but you don't really hear of an evil stepdad. So maybe it's because the guys, women usually they upgrade. It's
Mhm.
the guys. Guys don't downgrade. they upgrade in terms of beauty and physical looks, yes. But maybe in certain things they kind of downgrade a little bit too. I don't know. That's just
Jepoy
my take
says
on
the darndest thing. Jepoy says the darndest things, right? Anyway, okay, here's to wrap it up.
Oh, yeah, go ahead, go ahead.
All
What
right.
did we get here? We're talking about bikers.
Yeah, we're talking about the bikers, but yeah, I mean that was all settled. Like it was uncalled for. They shouldn't have punched the
Yeah,
the
evil
the the, the
stepdad is
yeah,
yes.
the potential vendor.
Porn
Evil stepdad is like a
you're right.
porn premise.
Joke. Exactly. Kaya nga hindi naman salbahe yung dad, di ba? Horny lang. But,
Bastos lang. Hindi naman sila bastos lang.
bastos lang, manyakis lang,
Horny. All that
We're
lang.
but we're kidding. We're kidding. I mean, it's all good. So we're all adults. I mean, these are real life situations. I mean, I don't come from a perfect family.
It's true.
Ice comes from a perfect family, but he still has issues. You know what I'm saying? So it's we all
No,
get
it's
it.
not
We
perfect.
just
It was
have
just
to-
like it was perfectly imperfect. That's what it was. So it was just
But
like
you make
everybody
it,
was
you
on the
make it
same
your own
page.
perfect world. You
Right?
might
Yeah,
regardless of what the quirk may be, you make it your own perfect world. Don't think
that's
about
true.
don't dwell on like on the cracks. Dwell on like if you look at your house, right? Huwag ka maghanap ng crack dyan. Huwag ka maghanap ng sira dyan. Tingnan mo yung foundation ng bahay. Ang ganda ng bahay ko. Ang ganda na. Kaya if you look for the cracks, unless your house is 90% cracks, then
Then your kid's like, Dad, I can see through the roof. I can see the stars. It's so bright. Ang liwanag tayo.
like, you're telling your wife, it's like, babe, ma, may may makak na yung bahay natin. Oh. Ulol, hindi natin ito bahay. Bahay ni mama at papa to. Nakikita na lang tayo hanggang ngayon. Hindi pala.
Reklamo ka pa. Bastos.
Kamo ka pa. Hindi nga natin ito bahay. Wala kang pambili.
All right. Okay.
But at the end of the day, make it your own perfect, miserable, complicated world. Just like
Right.
find the blessing in it. I think. I mean,
Right.
I never dwelled on like, oh, my dad's like, or my mom's like. Well, I never dwelled on that. It's like I just love my Lola. That's it, and my Lola's my role, and that's it. I love my mom still. I love my dad still. We just can't live together. You know what I'm saying? It happens, right? It happens.
Yeah. True.
Right.
True.
Right. Sometimes you live with people you hate. Sometimes you can't live with people you love. It happens. So that's just how it is. And I think the bottom line is you treat it like as an adult. And remember, dude, what is another term for like obstacles? Like
Obstacles.
difficulties, like
Challenges?
difficulties, challenges. There's another term for it that usually applies to like
Hurdles. What? No.
like something that like
Like
it's
what?
not anxiety. It's not anxiety. It's hurdle. Yeah, there's another term. It's
It's not anxiety. It's like
I'm
what
pretty sure
concerns.
Ryan knows, huh? It's like
So it's like sort of synonym to anxiety.
like this can only make you stronger. Like
Hang on.
it's not anxiety. It's so. God, I use that word all the time and I can't remember it.
Yeah. It's at the tip of my
like-
tongue.
It can only make you stronger. Like if you encounter these things, it's like it only makes you stronger. We need that in our lives. It's made us stronger.
Adversity. Adversity.
Is that it? That's
Adversity. Yeah. Well, adversity is yeah.
Yeah.
Adversity.
Yeah,
Adversity.
it is. I think that's the one.
It polishes
Yeah,
you. Adversity.
I bet you ask Ryan. He's
Adversity.
a big word friend. That guy is my big word friend. But it's like I said, it's like because I mean, her husband Ryan, he's a good friend of mine. He's a watch guy, and Ryan, I think with Ryan is he's like every time I text the guy, like I'm pretty sure he speaks Bisaya to his other friends, and I speak Bisaya to my other friends, whatever. But when we start texting each other, it's like all of a sudden I have to up my IQ, It's like I don't know. It's like it just kicks in, like because we deal with watches, and he's this guy who introduced me to this high-end watch world.
Of course.
Diba? There's no credibility if like bay unsa man bay tinuod na relo bay. I mean, it doesn't sound cool, right? Sa man kuan mo dia bay.
Doesn't.
Pila man ang dia. Nope, doesn't
At
sound.
least you have to know the word adversity
Yeah.
to sound
It's
legit.
adversity. That's it. Adversity, all these things, it makes you stronger. If you don't go through that, it's like they say kaya hindi nagkakasakit yung mga badyaw, yung mga ano bang mga 'di ba? They walk around the streets nakapaa lang. Do you see? I mean, they have sip-on like for a lifetime, but do you see them do you see them like getting sick? No.
No.
Nagpapayong ba yung mga badyaw? No. Do you see them? No, they never get it because they're so exposed to all the heat and the elements that they become immune to it. Pero you get somebody who's like this rich kid who laging may bimpo sa likod na may tatlong yayang nakapayong sa kanya and
So
nag-sneeze lang,
sickly.
yung injection na wala na, right? He goes out
That's
there, he
true.
takes one
That's
step
true.
out. So be that. I'm not saying be a badjaw and but what
Mm.
I'm saying is it's just, adversity is good. It's not bad. It's not a bad thing. And you can't tell. You think the people who look happy on Facebook never experience adversity in their lives? Magaling lang sila magdala, right? They just don't mope around and post it on their problems on Facebook. Marunong lang sila magdala, and I envy people like that, because sometimes we make mistakes. Like Iceman, you don't even see him on Facebook. pero ang dami ng ano niya, akay niyan, like this guy, you think we're cool like this doing the show? When we turn this off and we have our private chat off air, man, then the real shit hits the fan. You know what I'm saying? Joe boy, sip one for.
Sip-on for a
But
lifetime.
it's true. But okay. I didn't mean to make it sound that way. But anyways, so that's it. So
All right.
so
So
what are we doing on
right. So we'll
Thursday?
see you
What are
on.
we doing on
Yeah.
Thursday?
I don't know. I don't know. Thursday.
Oh, hold on. We were gonna talk. I just mentioned what I was gonna talk. We were gonna talk about like romance.
Romance. All right. We're gonna talk
Okay.
about romance on Thursday. All right.
I want
Romance.
to know what our different approaches and interpretation of romance is.
All right. Okay.
That
Romance
I
on
want to know
Thursday.
because
I'm just gonna
Joe
type it
Boy's the
here so I
presenter
won't
and
forget.
you have to do it. Yes,
Romance
just type it. Romance. What is it to you?
on
What is romantic to you?
Thursday.
I bet for Iceman, romantic is getting a MacBook Pro. For me, it's getting a new watch. But for most women, it's like a date in Paris, France. Like we don't know, right? Some people don't even care
All
about
right.
material things. So
Okay, we're
romance
gonna talk
on
about that
Thursday.
on Thursday. All right. Because tomorrow I have to go
And
to
romance.
the consulate in Nagoya to renew my passport. It's already
How
expired.
what
Is it 10
is
years
it
now?
10 years?
Is it true? Is
It's
it
10
10
years.
years? All right.
It's
So
10 years. Because of Vilma Santos, I think.
all right. Cool. So yeah, I'm going there tomorrow. I have an appointment. So yeah, I have to get stuff ready and
I mean, it's a done deal, right? It's not like you might fail it and not get
No. Like I already have an
Anything can happen.
appointment. So yeah, so it's already an appointment. I have my printouts and whatnot. I'll just have to show up there 11:30 and yeah,
Put on
just
Mr.
give them
Suave
paperwork and
stat.
whatever. Please put on a Mr. Suave stash for that episode. What do you mean, Mr. Suave
Oh,
stash? Like
by the
the
way, hold
oh
on.
yeah, all right,
I
okay,
just, I just saw a recent episode of Ryan Seacrest and Mensa. Apparently, Mensa, this like smart people, research institute in the U.S. did a
right,
research, and men with hairy chests
right.
apparently tend to be more intelligent than men who don't.
Really,
Yeah. So, do you have hairy chest, Ice?
dude? What do you
Do you
think?
have,
No,
do you have,
oh, I'm
you
stupid.
don't? I don't have hairy chest either, man. That's what he said. That's what Ryan Seacrest said. And Ryan Seacrest doesn't have hairy chest. So he's like,
I'll start
but
shaving my
but you know,
chest then.
but the funny thing is, you know what his co-host said? Because he has like 3 female co-hosts, right? One of his
Right,
female co-hosts, who happens to be like of Mexican descent, she goes, the funny thing, Mensa in Spanish apparently means stupid.
right.
So,
Mensa.
so we don't know about that research institute, right?
All right.
And
So
Ryan's
yeah,
like, okay,
probably
that
it's
explains it.
the other way around.
Ryan's
That
like,
could be
that
the
explains it.
yeah, that explains it, right? So
I don't
maybe
know what they're
yeah,
talking about.
we don't need hair on our chest to be smart. Mm-hmm.
No, we don't.
Oh ha.
You don't. You need brains in your head. That's what you need. All right. So, anyways,
That's good.
well, we'll see you Thursday. Good luck,
All
Ice.
right.
Hopefully, your passport gets the 10-year
Yeah.
thing.
Hopefully.
And romance Thursday. And and
Yes.
and please, if there's anything to be learned from our topic, the original topic, road rage, there is no room for that. All right. Get the
Yes.
plate number if you need to. Complain to
Count
the
1 to
proper
6.
authorities.
Breathe.
Does that work? Is
No,
that,
I
is that
don't.
what
It
works?
probably it probably does because it gives you
You
time to
know,
like regroup and like all right. Don't do anything stupid. Right.
I have kids now, so I listen to Coco Melon in my car and Coco Melon, and they kind of like like you can't hurt somebody when you hear Coco Melon in your head, right?
Right. Right.
A for apple, A for apple, B for I'm like freaking man, that's like in my head.
No room for road rage.
It's Choo Choo TV, yeah. 126, 126, and punch.
1, 2, 6, and punch. No, Chip, wait, that's all
Breathe
right.
in, breathe
Breathe
positive,
out. 1, 2, 6,
exhale.
and hug. Hug the person. Right.
Yeah, no. Anyway, hindi naman tayo mababaw.
Okay.
So,
So romance on Thursday. All right.
yes.
Well,
Thank you for joining us.
yes.
Love and peace and
Really
an open
appreciate
mind
it.
and open heart.
True.
Yeah.
True. All right.
My
Thanks a
kid,
lot.
yeah,
This is
that guy with the glasses, yeah, he does it a little bit. Okay, so thanks a lot.
all right. Does your kid watch Blippy? Yeah. My we actually have a song for that. And Snow Chang knows it. Bleepy, bleepy. And I would say, bleepy, yan, nang, bleepy, yan, bleepy. And she got it and she would sing it that way. And she would like laugh because she knows it's wrong.
Oh my
Bleepy,
god,
yan, nang,
what has
bleepy.
happened to us? Killer B DJs used to be
I
club
know, right? I
dwellers.
know.
We were the trendsetters, and now
You
we're
sing
singing
the
Coco
you sing the
Melon. And
bleep the
oh my god,
blippy jingle, whatever. Anyway, all right, okay. So
I miss
by the
the old
way,
Rod.
Luli is going back home tomorrow.
Hey,
Raj's
Luli,
classmate.
there's
She's
still
going back home
classmates.
tomorrow. Yeah, so that's why she's I know that's why Snow is not here. She's at her cousin's house at because Luli's there. She's staying there. So they're going home tomorrow. So they asked because this is the first time that Snow has to like do a sleepover. Like
Oh,
we never allow her
really?
to go sleepover. So it was like the wifey was just like, no. I was like, it's fine. Just let her. Like I like Luli's. I'm like, yeah. Luli's going home tomorrow. So
It's
like,
like
yeah.
a new experience. It's like a new
Yeah,
experience
yeah,
for you
yeah,
both, right?
true. So just like let her. So
Yeah.
so yeah, their flight is tomorrow morning at around 9. Is it not? No, 2 o'clock. So yeah. Anyway, all right. So we'll see you on Thursday. Thanks for joining us.
Yes.
This has been the OK Show. My name is Iceman,
Rod Rodriguez.
and thanks a lot. We are out. Good night.